ahead up to the wicket now and bowls, and he's bowled him.
It's going to be out. It's going to be out.
That's in the air. That's going to be caught.
And she goes aerial. She could well be caught. Oh, it's caught. He's taken it on the second chance.
Welcome back to Lords for the Inter-Services T20 Championship here at the home of cricket. You catch me just as the first men's match is about to get underway, the Army versus the Navy. Just a reminder that the Navy lost to the RAF in the opening game last Friday, but they won the toss and elected to field. So I will leave you with the live action, Army versus Royal Navy here at Lords IST20.
First up there from Romanek, and Narayan did well to get anything on that at all, actually. So quite a...
Funnily enough, the one person who wasn't really feeling is the bowler, which is always a good sign.
And here comes Romanek now to Narayan, who plays and misses, and that ball goes down the leg side, and that's picked up by the keeper, and there's no run. There's definitely some movement off the seam, and I think you're seeing that there is a bit of movement available off the seam with a new ball if you're prepared to really hit the deck hard, which he has done thus far. And yeah, he's got a bit of pace on him. It's a bit deceptive because it's quite a short run-up, but he's definitely getting some good pace behind the ball, and that's another play and a miss, and that's gone down the leg side. Very fine. The batters run one. They're coming back for the second. Might have just got a little bit of an inside edge on that. We'll wait for the umpire to signal. No signal from the umpire. Woolnough doing the fielding there from fine leg, and yes, that was off the inside edge of the bat. So yeah, it's been quite a testing start for the Army so far in this first over. Army, the defending champions. And here is Romanek coming up to the wicket now and bowling to Barley, who swings that ball down to square leg, pretty much all along the ground. That's a safe enough single. That takes the score on to 3. So actually it was not Narayan, it was Barley. It's just been corrected on the scoreboard. And this batter who's facing his first ball is Fletcher. Corporal Liam Fletcher, sporting number 13, but he'll be hoping there isn't anything superstitious going on there, as Romanek, off about 12 paces I think, comes up to the wicket now and bowls. That's outside the line of off stump, goes through to the keeper, and there's no run, just pushing that one a little bit wider outside the off stump. No, we've I would say we've actually got more spectators in this afternoon than we did this morning. We've got quite a well-populated tavern and a Warner stand there next to the pavilion, and a fair number of spectators in the grandstand as well. To our left, that's outside the line of off-stump. In fact, it's well wide of off-stump, and that's been signalled as a wide. That ball pitching outside the blue line, which is the umpire's marker to decide what's wide and what isn't. So we've got an extra ball to bowl in this over. Army for that loss, and they're looking for their 4th straight win in this competition. They really do have a fabulous record in this competition and have had over the years. And this is a full length delivery. That's edge, but there's no slip in place, and that's gone to a sort of a fly slip or a short third man, if you like. And the batters will have time to run one, so that's 5 without loss, and definitely some pace and some movement off the seam there from Romanek.
Yes, that was an impressive over by Jack Romanek. His cricketing hero, he says, is Jasprit Bumrah, and you can see that in his action, really, that he has that whip at the end of his bowling action, which is where I think that speed comes from. Because as you say, it wasn't an overly long run up, but generated plenty of pace there.
I think it's going to be William Rogers coming in.
Johnston.
Oh, I do beg your pardon. Benjamin Johnston, and he's going to be coming in from the pavilion end, and he's going to be bowling to Liam Fletcher, Corporal Liam Fletcher. And here he is now. Much slower run up to the wicket now and bowls, and this is just tapped into the onside. That's going to be picked up at short extra cover, and that's a tight single, but the batter's committed to the run straight away. So this is Benjamin Johnston bowling. He's an air engineer technician, and He's played for Ilminster Cricket Club, originally from Nantwich. Best performance of 108 versus the Army. Well, if we get anything close to that, that's that's going to be a very entertaining game. But he's got ball in hand at the moment. Johnston coming up the wicket now, bowling this time to Barley, who hits that off the back foot straight back past the bowler, and actually he allows that to go through to mid-off to do the fielding, and there's no run. Now, I've got a feeling about this game. I think this is going to be a hard-fought game of cricket. I don't know how close we'll get to a full complement of 40 overs, but I just get a real sense of tension and competition in these early exchanges. This is hit straight back past the bowler, and that hasn't quite beaten mid-on. That was a good diving stop with one hand by Chadwick. Certainly saved at least one run there, possibly saved three. Just the one taken, 7 without loss. And yeah, there's a few spectators in full voice this afternoon. As I think we've actually had a slightly bigger patch of blue there. The batsman struck on the pad as he tries to work that onto the leg side. The umpire gives it not out. Leg by is signalled. Probably was going down the leg side, but again, a little bit of movement off the seam and the batter playing down the wrong line. This is a good start here from the Navy. And here comes Johnston. This is his 4th delivery. Bowling quite wide of the crease, and that's well wide of off stump, and that's going to be signalled as such by the umpire. That takes us on to 9 without loss. I should mention you can listen to our commentary not only on the Lord's website, but also on Forces News on their YouTube channel, where they're bringing you live pictures at the moment, and they're bringing you our commentary as well. As Johnston comes up to the wicket now and bowls, and this is driven over extra cover. There is a sweeper in position, so that'll cut off the boundary, but one run has been taken. Marks fielding there in that position, who took the ball on the bounce. Quite an aerial shot, but reasonably safe once it cleared short extra.
I must say the fielding by the Navy already so far has been very sharp. I mean, that was a one bounce throw straight to the keeper and just restricting it to a single. So impressed by their fielding so far.
Yep, certainly very good up to now. Johnston up to the wicket now and bowls that slightly back of a length, and that's a swing and a miss. Fletcher anchored to the crease, and the ball goes past the bottom edge of the bat through to the keeper, no run. 10 without loss, so reasonably healthy scoring rate for the Army thus far in these early exchanges, but it's been quite hard going, and there's definitely something there for the bowlers.
Yes, it should be a very, very close match, this. Both teams are very enthusiastic. The Navy are.
Well, it's going to be Romanek to continue from the nursery end. This is a full length delivery which is hit straight to short extra cover on the bounce, and there's no run. So Jack Romanek into his 2nd over. Bowling to Barley. Barley's certainly featured in this competition before. I think Fletcher has as well.
Yes, they both have, I think.
Yeah. And here comes Romanek again. Now this is hit. It's gone high in the air. It's very, very straight. I don't think mid-on's going to get there, but that was a good effort to get anywhere near the ball, because he had a lot of ground to run from long on position, and that ball was hit very, very straight. A genuine miscue, but the fact that he hit it straight gave him a chance, and Fletcher's got away with one there. Single taken, 12 without loss. And that was a lot of running for that fielder to do. That was number 22. That was German John. And this next ball is hammered through the covers, and that's gone for the first boundary. That's gone for 4 runs. That takes us on to 16 without loss, and so a little bit of frustration there for the Navy. Just a little bit of width there outside the off stump, and a nice flowing cover drive there from Barley to move into double figures. He's got 11 off 9. And here is Romanek sporting some orange shoes, I can see, on the undersoles, and that's worked into the leg side. It's only gone as far as short mid-wicket, but the batters commit to a single straight away. That's good running from Barley and Fletcher. Romanek doing the fielding there from short extra cover. 17 without loss, and aren't the Army fighting for every run here? Still no slip fielders in position. 5 fielders saving 1 on the offside, backward square leg, mid-wicket, a long on and a deep mid-wicket. As this next delivery is edged just behind cover point. It might have been a guiding shot, to be fair, and that's going to run all the way down the slope for 4. That ball disappears into the tavern stand, and I think I might have done Fletcher a disservice there. I think it was pushed away rather than a thick edge outside the line of off stump.
Yes, these two batsmen going very well. 21 already on the board. We're only in the 3rd over. And the outfield is quicker than it was this morning.
Yes, I think that's the effect of a couple of hours of sunshine. I'm not sure how much more of that we're going to get this afternoon, but yes, certainly quicker than it was first up this morning. I'd agree with that. This is defended with a straight back, and Romanek fields off his own bowling. So that takes us to the end of the over. So Romanek 2 overs for 16. And Johnston to continue from the other end. Barley has 12 off 10 deliveries, and Fletcher has 7 off 8. And the Army are going at 7 runs and over. A pretty decent start from the Army. They've had to fight hard for those runs, but they've definitely been committed, and they've definitely been bold.
I think they've got 2 probably quite experienced batsmen at the crease. I mean, I know Varun Barley has played in this fixture at least twice before, to my recollection, and he's a very strong bat, and Liam Fletcher, Corporal Liam Fletcher, also appears to be a strong batsman, so they're sort of going about it early, I think, to make sure that in case the weather plays a part in it, they want to get as many runs on the board as possible.
Well, it is going to be Johnston to continue. He's bowling to Barley, who swings hard, but that's not going to clear mid-wicket. That's going to be caught inside the 30-yard circle. The shot was on, but he just didn't get enough elevation. Comfortably caught at head height there by Davies. And the first Army wicket has fallen in the 4th over, 21 for 1.
Yes, so Barley goes for 12. I think it was a question of timing. He didn't quite time that shot. It's that tempting short boundary for the right-handed batsman batting from this nursery end. And he just didn't manage to elevate the ball over the fielder, and in the end it was quite an easy catch for the fielder there.
So possibly a split second later it might have gone square or behind square. No.
21 for 1. The Navy with a big huddle and a celebratory thumping around each other's backs as they come on. We can do this.
Well, it's going to be Sam Blackburn next. He is a Lance Sergeant.
I think they changed their mind. It was going to be.
Oh, no, it was going to be. They're keeping us on our toes. They're keeping us on our toes. That's Les Porus, in fact, is the new bat. Keddy Les Porus, he's a private. And he's come to the crease possibly a little earlier than he would have anticipated. We're in the 4th over, 5 deliveries remaining. Johnston striking early for the Navy after winning the toss and electing to field first. And here he comes, Johnston up to the wicket now and bowls, and this is driven, but he's that was a big flowing follow through. He hasn't really timed it, but he's got enough elevation to get that ball wide of mid-off and run through for a couple of runs. Threw the shot a little bit early, but I think that follow-through just gave it that extra bit of elevation out of harm's way.
Yes, and there's a lot of room out there for those 2 or 3 fielders to cover, because quite rightly the majority of the fielders are on the leg side where that short boundary is.
Yes, he really is under pressure to keep an off-stump line to protect the short boundary. As Johnston comes up to the wicket now and bowls, and that's almost York for the Sporus actually. He just manages to dig that out, and the ball's picked up at a short mid-on. 23 for 1 is the score, and I'm enjoying this competition. It's, the Army are being bold, they are being adventurous. The fielding from the Navy has been sharp. There's not been too many loose deliveries, and fair weather conditions at the moment, but we're not sure if the weather will play a part in this, and maybe a reduced target with reduced overs. This is played defensively into the offside by the Sporus. And there's no run. Good over so far from Johnston, who's taken 1 for 7, having Barley caught by Davies off a miscue pull shot at mid-wicket. And here is Johnston again, up to the wicket past the umpire, and bowls, and this is flicked off the hip, and that's gone very, very fine, and nobody's going to get that. That ball really raced away quickly, and I'm not sure it would have gone that quickly this morning.
No,
The
right.
outfield's quickened up. So that takes us on to 27 for 1. So the Army retaining their run rate of roughly 7 and over. There's 1 delivery remaining. Still 4 fielders, saving 1 on the onside, protecting that shorter boundary as Johnston runs up to the wicket now and bowls. This is short, it's outside the off stump. There's a swing and a miss. There's an appeal for caught behind. He's been given. That was a flowing drive, an attempted drive through cover. Must have been a feather of a nick, but the umpire raised his finger after a hesitation of perhaps 2 or 3 seconds. The second Army wicket has fallen. They're 27 for 2 after 4 overs. Plenty of Ravanash to ponder as I hand over to Liam Radia.
So 27 for 2, an eventful opening 4 overs for the Army here. They're going well on the run scoring front, but they've lost 2 wickets. I mean, that last wicket was a real flash outside the off stump. The umpire did take a few seconds to put the finger up. I mean, where we are, we're not directly behind the stump, so we can't really say much, but it was a very, very strong appeal from all the fielders, a very loud appeal, and the umpire gave it out. So 27 for 2. That's the end of the over. Now the Army have got to consolidate again. Out comes a new batter, Navy Cockerhoop. Welcome back, Liam.
Thank you very much, Avinash. As Lords is a bit more cloud covered this afternoon. And it's a shame, by the way, Keddy Lesporis, who just got out, is from my hometown of Harrow.
Yes, and he used to play. He plays for Harrow. That's his club.
Absolutely.
So we're not sure which updated the scoreboard as to the new batsman,
I think it might be Blackburn.
but it's Johnston who's continuing from this nursery end. It's just starting. No, in fact, it's not. Romnick, I beg your pardon. Romnick from this end.
Sam Blackburn, who's taken over. He is at the non-strikers end.
And he's the wicketkeeper for the Navy. This next ball is pulled out onto the leg side by Fletcher, and they just take a single because it went straight to the fielder there, prowling that boundary. A long, long way there. So 28 for 2. We're in the 5th over. Romanek is continuing from this nursery end. And it's going to be Blackburn who's going to be taking strike for the first time. And he comes left arm over the wicket. And that's a full pitch ball on the outside the off stump, and it's in fact pulled wide by the umpire. He tried to reach it, Colt, but he couldn't.
So it wasn't Blackburn, that was the scoreboard telling us a few fibs, but that's okay. It's
They
Oscar
keep
Colt,
testing us.
who is from Guildford.
So Oscar Kolk is with the parachute regiment, and he's facing at the pavilion end. Flicks it round the corner and quite wisely decides not to set up for a run because there's a direct hit onto the stumps by the fielder there on short leg.
Colt, whose favourite batter is Viv Richards. I look forward to seeing a Richards-esque innings today.
Well, you must have been watching him on TV because I can't imagine you ever saw him live.
Well, we've got a photo of Oscar Kolk. It's always best not to assume.
So 29 for 2. It's Romanek coming in for the 4th ball of this over, and that's on the offside. It's driven, misfielded by the fielder at extra cover there, allowing them to grab a quick single, otherwise there would have been no run. It was hit quite hard. Score goes up to 30. Fletcher comes on strike. He's 8 not out, having faced 10 deliveries. setters on now as Norman comes in. It's a full pitch ball, which is a wide. I think he just lost his rhythm there completely. Score goes up to 31-2.
We talked about the Navy's fielding earlier, and they're clearly backing themselves, because on the offside to the right-handed batter, where the short boundary is, they've got no one protecting the boundary.
No, right. And this next ball is flit out onto the leg side. And the may just go for 2. No, they've just taken a single, and the fielder is jumping quite quickly. Only the 3 fielders there on the leg side. Well, there's a 4th one here on the long-on boundary, but really it's there are plenty of runs to be had on the leg side if the batter can place the ball. It's a big field out there, the short boundary being on the other side. Romanek comes in now for the last ball over, and that's played out onto the offside, and there's just a quick single. Score goes up to 33-2, and Colk is on 2, and Fletcher, who will take strike now, is 9 not out.
The run rate's come down a little bit, as you'd expect with the falling of a couple of
Yeah,
wickets.
I think the fact that 2 new batters have had to come in quick succession, obviously it's going to take a little bit of time for them to settle again. Last year the Army in this corresponding fixture beat the Royal Navy with 43 runs. They scored 171 for 8, and the Navy had 128 for 9. So 5 overs played already, 33-2, and we're going to see a change of bowling. It's Carl Woolnough, who again I think played in this fixture last year, and he's going to be bowling from the pavilion end. And the lots of people on side, as it will be to him, and he flicks this down on the offside towards the 3rd man region, and they take a quick single. Romanek, the fielder there, and he just finished his bowling on the side. 34-2. Fletcher moves on to 9, and Colk on 3. Woolnough, right arm over the wicket, comes in from the pavilion end, and that ball goes straight through to the wicketkeeper, and in fact the umpire has called that a wide. Didn't look all that particularly wide from here, but it must have been for the umpire to have called it wide, so score goes up to 35-2.
He's got an interesting action. He bowls off his front foot,
Yeah.
which is slightly unorthodox.
Yes, I see what you mean. And the Fletcher has a swipe at this next ball, and the ball just goes out onto the onside, and they run for a quick single. Fielder coming in actually misfields it, and the fielder behind him picks it up and retrieves it. So 36-2, and there'll be Colk on strike. Slightly gloomier than it was this morning, but still perfectly fine to play. We're hoping the rain stays away. Short on the next ball, which is cut out onto the covers, and the fielder from the extra cover boundary comes in and fields, and they take a single. Fletcher will now come on strike. He's 10 not out, and Colk is 4 not out.
We only have the 2 fielders outside the 30-yard circle, both on the offside near the grandstand, sorry, and the Compton stand. So one at deep third,
So
and deep cover.
Yes, deep 3rd boundary and extra cover boundary. In comes Woolnough with his slightly strange action, and the ball is played straight back to him. He's so far conceded 4 runs in his first over, and Romanek at the other end has conceded 22 runs from his 3 overs. 37-2. Fletcher on strike. He's having a good look at the leg side. He fancies himself on that side, and Woolnough has to make sure that he doesn't stray onto the leg side as he comes in from that pavilion end. And in an effort to actually make sure he doesn't stray on the leg side, he goes wide outside the off stump, so wide that it's called a wide. I'm sure this plays on their mind because it's such a short boundary there that you dare not go anywhere near that side, and of course you end up going too far the other way.
You're right. And also the slope is moving towards the leg side as well.
Yeah. 38 for 2. In comes Wolnoff. That's driven nicely on the offside. It's probably just going to be a single because the fielder from the boundary there on the mid-off, long-off boundary comes in and fields it quite quickly and efficiently. 39 for 2. The Army won't be unhappy with this. 39 for 2. They lost 2 wickets, so they've got to try and make sure they don't lose any more quick wickets and they can try and consolidate their score. They are a strong batting team. In comes all off the last ball, and this is cut out onto the offside, straight to cover point, and there's no run. There's a fielder backing up at mid-on, so...
Just to that point, they will want to get a fast start, just in case there is any rain. And that does limit the number of overs that
Yes.
the Navy are batting.
I mean, I would say that even compared to 10-15 minutes ago, it looks slightly brighter to me out there. It looks as if the sun is trying to brighten up, but there are clouds to our right, way above the grandstand, and if the weather is coming from there, then we could be in some trouble. So we've had 6 overs now, 39 for 2. The 2 batsmen out there in the middle are Fletcher. He's on 11. He's faced 14 deliveries. Hulk has scored 4 off his 6 deliveries. And to continue from the nursery end, it's going to be Charles Rutter, Lieutenant Charles Rutter. He's on HMS Trent. That's his ship. He's from Brighton. His club team is Haywards Heath, and he's a bowler. 5 for 15, his best performance so far. In he comes now. Right arm over the wicket, medium pace it looks like, and this ball goes straight past the batsman, who does attempt to make contact with it without any success, taken by the wicketkeeper, and there is no run. Nice rhythm to his bowling style, Rutter.
A bit more of a spread field this time. We have a deep mid wicket, long on, long off, and a deep cover, and a deep third actually as well.
In comes Rutter. That's a full delivery, which is flicked out onto the leg side, straight to the fielder, but they take a quick single. Score moves on to 40 for 2. And that brings Kolk on strike at the pavilion end. We haven't seen much of him yet. He's only faced 6 deliveries. In he comes now. Again, a full pitch delivery, full delivery, which is driven onto the onside, straight to the fielder at mid-on, and they take a single. Struggling to find his length, Rutter. 2 or 3 full deliveries there, which in fact could have been punished a lot more than they were had the batter acted quickly enough. 41 for 2. Right arm over the wicket, past the umpire now. Again flicked out onto the onside, and just a quick single. It's good that they're picking up the singles, keep the score going. That's always the idea in these games. 42 for 2 the score.
I think to your previous point, if you bowl it, if it's a full toss, fine, but if it's straighter, it avoids the batter being able to push it into the offside towards the shorter boundary.
Yes, yes. Sun brightly out now. This next one is driven onto the leg side. Fielder at mid-wicket fields, and they take a single. It's good running between the wickets here.
We saw in the earlier game that there were a few calls that were slightly off between the batters, but this game seems to, so far, I don't want to curse it, but so far it seems to be okay.
Yes, no, it's been good running between the wickets, not just with this pair, but even the previous pair I noticed were running well. Next ball is a slower delivery, which is played out onto the offside. Again, they scamper through for a quick single. And that's the end of the 7th over, 44 for 2. Fletcher is 13 not out. Kolk is 6 not out. The players shadows on the field, which is good news. The sun is bright at the moment. We've had this threat of rain in the forecast all day, but this is probably about as bright as it's been that I can remember.
I agree.
And it's going to be Woolnough bowling from the pavilion end. He's going to be starting his second over. In his first over, he conceded 6 runs. In he comes now. Right arm over the wicket. And that is a wide, called a wide.
And it wasn't collected by the keeper, so it's run through for byes as well. Strange weather this. It was sunny, then it wasn't sunny, and now it's sunny again.
So 46 now the score. 46 for 2 as Woolnough comes in to try again. Let's see what he does this time. It's a slightly better ball. Quicker as well. Straight through to the wicket keeper. Batsman did have a kind of a wild swing at it, but didn't make any contact. Just as well for him. And the score remains at 46 for 2. Kolk it is who's on strike. He's on 6 not out. He's faced 9 deliveries so far. And Woolnough is in his second over. In he comes now. And that ball is played out onto the offside. I think it's a slight mishit. And they take 2 runs down to pass backward point there.
Again, really hard running. They ran that first one really hard. And that gave them the opportunity, despite the fielder at third man only having to run 10 yards to his right, they managed to run through for a second.
Yeah, and that's such a vital part of the game. The running between the wickets. Woolnough comes in now, slower ball, and that's dispatched straight for 6 runs into the tavern stand.
Over the tavern stand.
It's over the tavern stand.
That's hit the roof of the tavern stand, just to the right as we're looking at it of Old Father Time.
I wonder whether they'll find that ball. Suspect not. It was a slower delivery, and it was picked up very early by the batter. He went for it straight away, and the third umpire is coming out with a box of balls for a new one to be chosen from. But I don't think they're going to find that one. The umpire has picked.
And you said we hadn't seen much of Kolk from
I was going to say, yes.
I think he's certainly made his mark now.
So that's a nice phrase. The incredible Kolk has just dispatched that over the tavern roof for 6. He remains on strike. And the next ball is cut out onto the offside. And there is no run. The non-striker was interested, but Kolk, not keen to let go of the strike, sends him back, quite rightly. 2 more balls left in this over. Score is now 54. With that 6, the 50 is up. So 54 for 2. Woolnough, in his second over, has already conceded 16 runs. 2 more balls left. In he comes now. That ball again is cut out onto the offside where the cover point fielder fields it. There's no run. 1 more ball left in the over.
Again, a relatively unprotected leg side boundary.
Yeah, they're sort of just beginning to move back a little bit. There's a man on the mid-wicket boundary there. But the sort of mood that Kolk is in, I think we'll soon see those 2 other fielders on the leg side on the boundary as well. In comes Woolnough. And this is I'm not sure anybody knew what that was, but the ball's gone for 4 runs on the leg side boundary, but I think the shot that he was attempting was actually on the offside. But anyway, he's got 4 runs, they all count. Fletcher has got on to 13 with that. It's 58 for 2 after 8 overs, and I'm going to make way now for Amber to join Liam.
Thank you, Avinash. And who knows what's going on with this weather, honestly. It was sunny, then it was rainy, and now it's sunny again, and we can thankfully see players' shadows, which is always a nice sight here at Lord's. And again, we're once more sun-kissed here. And that one, a shot from Colk, which went for a boundary. And it takes the Army to 58 for 2. As Rutter continues from the nursery end, right arm of the bowls. This is straight and just edged. There was an appeal, so I assume actually maybe it wasn't an edge, maybe it came off the pad, but he did take a bit of a stride outside the off stump and down the wicket a little bit, so probably an appeal for nothing. As Amber joins me in the commentary box.
Afternoon, what a start.
It's been a great start, 58 for 2. Fletcher on strike, 13. He's on off 18, and Colk has rapidly overtaken him on 18 off just the 14 deliveries. And it's Rutter, right arm over, number 11. Takes a bound in. This is full and hit into the leg side, slightly uppish, but goes as far as the fielder at deep square leg, who throws it in on the bounce, and it's through to the keeper, and the batters run through for a single. Takes the score to 59 for 2, and brings the tall, lanky figure of Oscar Colk on strike. And Rutter runs in, third ball of his over, bowls this one full and just nipped into the leg side and picked up by the fielder at mid-wicket, and they run through for a quick single. Again, really strong running from these two.
I've got to say, I've been very impressed with the Navy's fielding and bowling. They've been very sharp. Bowlers so far have kept their lines quite tight. They've been consistent. I think they've really put the pressure on the Army, but again, they've batted very well so far.
Rutter continues. Nursery end full. This one just almost dabbed into the offside and picked up by the bowler. Fletcher wasn't quite able to squeeze that into the offside and run through. 5-4 field we have here. So we have a third man, a deep cover and a long off, and then two other fielders at point and extra cover on the offside. As the right arm Rutter continues. Nice high bound, this one short of a length and just cut into the offside, but only goes as far as the fielder at deep cover on that short boundary. He throws it in to the keeper. And again, final ball of Rutter's over to come. And on the leg side, we've got a long on, a mid-wicket, a deep square leg and a short fine leg. Rutter, who doesn't have the same pace of, say, a Romanek, who opened the bowling from this end earlier, but nonetheless has some pace to him as he bowls, and is defended resolutely by Oscar Colk. He's shown some maturity in this innings so far. He hit the big one that was a loose delivery, but also he's defended the ones that need defending.
I've got to say, he's got a lovely action. He's bowled really well as well. What was that? 2 overs, conceded 8 runs. Really tight so far. Whereas Walnut from the other end, slightly more expensive. Gone for 20 runs off his 2 overs.
Yeah, he has. That takes the score to 61 for 2.
Colk on 19. Fletcher 15 off 21. Of course, we saw the dismissal of opener Valley for 12. Off the bowling of Johnson. We've got a new bowler.
We do indeed.
This is Jerron John, if I'm not... Jerron John, yes.
His rank is an able rate chef.
Here's cricketing hero Dwayne Bravo.
I would assume then he's an all-rounder, and I think he is. And he's a right arm over medium-paced bowler.
Hey, I've got a great fact about him. I'll tell you about it after this.
Here we go. John to bowl. This one straight and just actually nipped away from the right-handed Fletcher.
Pacey.
It was pacey, and it went through to the keeper. Playing a miss there from Fletcher. Slightly slingy action of Jerron John. As he runs in again, nice gentle run up, and he bowls, and this is pushed into the leg side. That's a big swat over to the mid-wicket boundary, and it runs away into the tavern stand for 4.
I would say John just released that a bit too early. He didn't look like he was in rhythm when he ran up today. He's also got quite a short run up for a pace bowler. What do you think?
I agree. It's probably only around maybe 15, 20 paces.
Takes quite big strides if you watch him.
He does, and he doesn't really have too much of a high bound, so it's almost a bit slingy and doesn't come out with too much bounce. But nonetheless, that one's slightly too straight, slightly too short, and was able to be picked up by Fletcher, who pulled it away for 4. As John continues, third ball of his over. This one's straight again, and Fletcher was able to just push that to the long on field, and they run through for a single.
much better length from John there.
It was a lot less short. It was a bit more full, and he was able to just play that, was Fletcher, with a straight bat back past the bowler.
He's got his leg side boundary a lot more protected.
He does. Again, we've got a long on, a deep mid-wicket on the leg side as he continues. This one's straighter, this gun, oh, actually it was down the leg side, that one, and it's gone past the diving left hand of the keeper, and it's run away to the fine leg boundary, but picked up by the fielder at square leg, and
Also
the batter's
signalled
run
wide as well.
and it was a wide. It was indeed, and they've run through for 2 as well. So that was 2 wides. Slightly erratic there from John. I think he'll want to go back to the same line and length that he had for the first ball of this over.
I think he's still getting to his rhythm, but it's also quite hard to bowl from that end.
It is with
I've
the
heard. Not that I'd have any experience in it.
with the slope going towards the tavern stand as he continues. Here we go. This one outside the off stump, driven firmly by Kolk, but only as far as the fielder at deep cover, who picks it up in a big throw into the keeper, and they run through and brings Fletcher back on strike, who's on 20 off 24, and that takes the score to 70 for 2, and both batters now on the same score, 20.
Oh yeah, both on 20. Both building quite a nice partnership here.
9 off this over so far as John continues. 5th ball of his over. This one's straight, and Fletcher tried to pull that one away, but was slightly early on it, and it hit his right leg as he swiveled round to try and pull that away towards the mound stand. And again, we've got a long on and a deep mid wicket on the leg side, and a conventional mid wicket and a short fine leg on the leg side, and then a deep cover and a long off on the offside. And I'll continue telling the field in just a second. That's short on the right, on the offside, and just defended off the back foot by Fletcher. Back to the bowler, and that brings an end to the 10th over.
Not a bad over from him. 9 off the over. Still trying to get into his rhythm, I think, from that end. Did you know he collects IPL memorabilia?
I did not. I knew you were here for a reason.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Need pointless facts. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, IPL fan. Rajasthan Royals, I believe.
Fantastic. And he was drafted for the VPL for the 2023 season.
It's like we've been given a fact sheet to read off. It is nice though. We've got everyone's photographs. The only thing is I printed it in black and white. So now, can't really tell.
Well, you can't tell the difference between the shirt colours.
No, you can't.
We have Kolk back on strike and Rutter to continue from the nursery end as he bowls. This one slightly faster, fuller, and driven straight with a lovely straight bat back past the bowler and picked up by, that's Romanek, who's fielding it long on.
That was a lovely shot.
It was a lovely shot. They always say show the bat maker's name to the bowler, and he hit that so straight he showed the bat maker's name to me. Up here in the commentary box, as we have Rutter to continue. 2nd ball of his over to Fletcher. This one's shorter outside the off stump and dabbed into the offside by Fletcher, and they run through for a quick single, picked up by the fielder at extra cover. So again, just to run through the field again, we have a third man, a conventional third man on the boundary. We've got a deep cover, we've got a point, got an extra cover, a long off, long on, mid wicket, a deep mid wicket, and a short fine leg inside the circle. Rutter, who runs in from about 25 yards. Nice high bound, this one is nice and full. And Kolk manages to get that one away. Again, nice and straight. Probably actually tried to flick that into the leg side for a single, but it manages to squeeze past the bowler.
Judging from his feet then, and going on one leg, I did think he was going to go for the flick.
But it managed to somehow end up straight past the bowler, and it was picked up by the fielder at long on. We're losing the shadows of the fielders, which tends to say there's cloud cover as Rutter continues. And again, this long on fielder is very much in the game today, because Fletcher has managed to drive that one straight past the bowler to that long on fielder, as I say, and that brings Oscar Kolk on strike. And the Army just working in singles for now.
I think that's sensible. They've done very well at putting that looser ball away.
74 for 2. Rutter continues. This one down the leg side. This will be given a wide. It's collected by the keeper, who moved quite sharply towards his left. But again, slightly too straight, and it's quite common to do that, again, from what I hear at Lords, because the slope, if you're a right-handed bowler working from the nursery end, it's working towards the offside of the right-handed batter, towards the tavern stand, and therefore you tend to push it towards the leg side of the right-handed batter. But anyway, Rutter continues, 5th ball. This one straighter, edged, and it was
appealing.
it was a leg before wicket. It's been given.
Ah,
Well, there you go.
that's another wicket gone. Colk's gone for 22. LBW.
It was LBW, and to be honest, I thought it was an edge from here because I could hear something, but it turns out it wasn't an edge. It hit his front pad, and he didn't take too much of a stride forward. And
the lovely Ben has just confirmed that was LBW. That's a
And it was
breakthrough
LBW.
for the Navy, actually.
well, this pair were looking quite strong. Both had 22 runs. Luke Fletcher 22 off 28, but the departing Oscar Colk 22 off 20, and that takes the Army to 75 for 3, and that brings Rutter's first wicket. 1 for 13 off his 2.5 overs so far.
Again, I don't think the Army should be disheartened. I think their run rate less than 7. I think we've got Sam Blackburn in, if I'm not wrong.
It looks like we have Boynton.
Oh, the scorecard loves to keep us on our toes.
It's what we need.
We're just going to confirm who the next batter is coming into bat for the Army and who will be joining Fletcher.
I think it may well be Boynton, but we will come back to you. But I think Rutter's bowled relatively well in his last 2.5, almost 3 overs. Hasn't been too wayward on his line. Yes, he bowled a wide in this over, but nonetheless, he's been relatively straight. I think it is Jonathan Boynton.
Jonathan Boynton?
Who is a sergeant and has been in the Army for 17 years and is an all-rounder.
Says his hero is Ben Stokes. That's a great hero to have, isn't it, really?
Especially at this ground.
Rutter from the nursery end. Final ball.
And Boynton is a left-handed batter. And Rutter to continue from the nursery end. This one straight and driven, edged, and there's an appeal for something, but the batter doesn't go anywhere.
And the umpire's not...
And the umpire's not reacted either. So there was a debate as to whether that hit the edge of Boynton's bat, who would have been out for a golden duck.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the batter didn't move, the umpires didn't signal, so we can only assume that that's that. And that's the end of that over. So that's the end of the 11th over. And we have Geron John to continue from the pavilion end. And Liam Fletcher, who was the opener, who's been a steady force throughout this innings.
He really has. He's held it together. Halfway through the innings so far, 11th over.
And Geron John to continue. The slingy Geron John. This one's short. It hit the batter about waist height, who tried to pull it across, but it ends up going towards the third man fielder, who picks it up and throws it in. They run through for a single. That was leg bite. And again, Geron John doesn't seem to have too much of a high bound, which means that the ball doesn't really bounce too high. But nonetheless, the batter, Liam Fletcher, tried to pull that one away.
Got himself a bit of a muddle there. Don't think he quite connected how he wanted to.
Again, yeah, slightly early on the shot. Nonetheless, this brings Boynton, who scratches his guard as he bats from the nursery end, and Geron John, the bowler from the Navy, bowling from the pavilion end. 76 for 3 is the score. Geron John to continue. This one's straight outside the off stump, and Boynton swinging a miss outside the off stump, and the keeper collects, and the ball makes its way around the infield on the offside. Now, of course, the offside towards Old Father Time, the shorter boundary towards the tavern stand, because the batter is a left-hander. And Geron John, right arm over the wicket for the Navy. Here we are, he runs in. And this one's straighter down the leg side, just flicked away. I think that may have hit his pad actually, so that may be leg bite. Nonetheless, they run through for a quick single. And maybe not. Maybe it wasn't leg bias, no. Maybe it did come off the bat. But nonetheless, this left-hand, right-hand combination can't be easy.
We had it in the previous game, didn't we? And I said it's an absolute curveball.
It is a curveball. nonetheless. This brings Liam Fletcher back on strike, 22 off 29 for him so far, 77 for 3. John to continue. This one heaved into the leg side and goes towards cow corner for 4 runs.
Lovely shot, right in the gap between the two fielders there. Managed to find the vacant region, timed, connected, and rewarded with 4 runs.
It was outside the off stump and slightly short of a length this time, and Fletcher was on top of that in a flash, and the swooshing bat came across from offside to leg side and it went for 4. And John continues, 5th ball of his over. This one outside the off stump and swing and a miss from Fletcher, who got there maybe slightly early, and the ball goes through to the keeper. And here we have John to continue. He bowls off about 15-16 paces or so.
But has a ton of variation.
He does. Here we go. Bowls. This one straight and just pushed into the offside, and that goes towards the fielder at deep cover, who picks it up and throws it in. The batter runs through for a single. That brings an end to the 12th over. The score is 82 for 3. And I'll leave you in the capable hands of Amber. And behind me in the commentary box is Terry Smith.
Thank you, Liam. If you have just joined us, welcome to Lords. It's Armed Forces Day here. We are in the middle of the Army versus the Navy. The Army 82 for 3. Navy bowling pretty well so far. Fletcher is in, 27 not out. And we're going to have Rutter come in from the nursery end. Terry, welcome back.
Hi Amber, it's a difficult one to call this, and
It
both
is,
sides
isn't
are
it?
playing well.
Yeah. Rutter coming in to bowl his first ball of this over. Attempted flick to the leg side, didn't quite connect.
Was that wide signal?
Oh, that's been signalled wide.
Just straight down the leg side.
Yeah, and just drifted down. That'll be a wide ball. Rutter so far bowled quite tight, gone for 14 off his 3 overs so far. He continues for his second ball from the nursery end. That's just driven down the ground. They'll take the one comfortably. Mid-off has done the fielding. Just the 1 run there.
A lot of straight drives.
Yes,
In recent overs,
absolutely.
which is a testament to the good bowling, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Beg your pardon, that's mid-on that did the fielding. Left-hander and strike. Rutter coming in, sorry.
Curveball, as you say.
Oh
Amber.
gosh, it is still for me. I'll tell you a story in a second, Terry. Rutter coming in, driven down to the onside. Again, mid-on does the fielding, they'll get the 1. Steady singles here so far. Yeah, when I was a bowler and I used to see a left-hander, oh, set my field for me, please.
Mid-over.
Yeah. Fletcher on strike, he's 28 off 33 deliveries. Rutter coming in. From the nursery end, he continues, he bowls. That's just been flicked to the leg side. Mid-wicket does the fielding, and they'll just get a single. Sensible from these two so far.
Indeed, and the Army batsmen just taking their time, not trying to force the issue and trying to punish balls that are good deliveries.
Rutter running in. Bowls, left hand on strike. Just drives that through the offside. Cover fielder does the fielding. That's John. It covers there.
Still contrast to last year when the Army won comfortably, 43 runs.
Oh wow.
And the Navy have turned up here at Lords with maybe something to prove. They also lost the qualification game
Fletcher
down
on
at the Royal
strike.
Navy Sports Ground.
Rutter coming into bowl. Fletcher on strike. It's been flicked down to the boundary. Fielder will do the fielding. They'll get 2 for that. 89 for 3 here at Lords. The Army batting. Fletcher's in.
They'll be looking quite nervous, I think, the Navy at the Skies, because
I think so.
in the qualification game it was a much shortened match because of that, and they lost out on the DL method, which wouldn't have pleased them.
7 overs left. Run rate just below 7. Rutter coming in for his final ball of this over. Bowls a lot fuller delivery. Oh, that was very close. Fletcher looking for the run. May have already been standing out of his crease for that.
Rutter looks
Had to,
seriously
get
disappointed
back.
that he missed the stumps there, because I think he thinks that he'd have got a wicket with that.
Yeah, that was very close. Had to dive back in to get his guard there. 89 for 3 here at Lords.
Worth mentioning the chosen charity for today, Blind Veterans UK, chosen charity for 2023. It's to help visually impaired ex-servicemen and women to rebuild their lives after sight loss. And, a worthy cause, and there are many collection boxes around Lords today. But we assume, and we're almost certain that the patrons today will be given generously.
John coming in from the pavilion end. That's just been flicked down to cover fielder.
I don't know if I'm
John just get a single for that.
John reminds me a little bit of Geoff Archer in his style.
Do you think?
Yeah, it's a very short run up, and most of his action comes from the upper body, the arm speed.
Quite erratic, isn't it? That? And as I mentioned it earlier, full of variation. He's just moving around his fielder at third man.
Must be
Or
difficult to
third
read.
man. Deep third. Drum coming in. Fletcher on strike. Just driven that down to long off. Runs in. Gets the ball back to the bowler. Then he's got a single for that.
Another straight one.
Yes.
It'd be interesting to see what the wagon wheel of shots would be.
I always
But
find
I
it so
suspect it's fairly
fascinating
straight,
looking at that, yeah.
apart from the 6, obviously.
Boynton, is it Boynton on strike? Yes, left-hander on strike. John coming in, shorter delivery, keeper's taken that very well, it's also a wide. Keeper did very well to get to that. Signal, umpires signal wide.
We had cover down here, so I don't think it would have gone to the boundary, but it was going at speed.
Yes, absolutely. I'll go through the field in a second, but John coming in for his third delivery. Oh, very good ball there.
Almost cut him in half.
Yeah, it did. Went straight through the bowler. Keeper takes it. I think Boynton did attempt to get contact, but didn't quite make it. Missed him completely. Went straight through to the keeper. 92 for 3. John 18 off his 2.3 overs so far. He comes in to bowl from the pavilion end. That's just been flicked down to the fielder on the offside boundary. They'll just get the one.
Just reached for that a little bit, Boynton, to try and change the angle.
Yeah.
And managed to flick it as a result, rather than traditionally going straight back past the bowler. Still only the 1 run, right?
Fletcher on strike, really holding this innings together. 32 off his 37 deliveries. John comes in, attempted pull shot, didn't quite connect.
Went for it
He
there,
ended up on
Fletcher,
his knees, didn't he?
Went for it there. He saw,
Yeah, he did.
saw a 6
Got to
in his
admire
eyes.
the intent, haven't you? We'll get a dot for that though. 93 for 3.
You're still calling that a swash?
Swash? Swash? John coming into bowl. Fletcher outside his crease, driven that down the ground. I'll be honest, I've lost the ball. Oh yeah, there it is. They've got 2. Ah, looks like long off didn't quite get to it. They've got 2 for that.
Yeah, I think
Great run in between Fletcher and Boynton.
Yeah, long off. I don't think he quite believed that the Army would risk a second run there than they did, so it caught him a little bit off guard, I think.
End of the over there. 95 for 3. The Army are.
Yeah, still a decent rate, just under
Yes.
7 and over, and yeah, I think this is going to be a tight contest. This.
I think so. 5 overs left here. Weather is looking okay. I
Yeah,
don't jinx it.
it
but
looked
it's
very
looking-
threatening earlier on, didn't it? Coming from that sort of right-hand corner, sort of away to our right-hand side, just to sort of grandstand.
It's all very dramatic when the covers came up 5 minutes before we were about to start. But had to be cautious about it.
Yeah, I asked off air if the groundsmen would get a bit grumpy that they were forced to bring all the covers on for no reason
For
at
no
all.
reason. James Chadwick is our new bowler coming in to the attack from the nursery end. I'm going to predict he's going to bring us a bit of spin. I think so. Yeah, he's coming with a bit of spin.
Down to your superior knowledge there, isn't it?
James Chadwick, our new bowler for the Navy, coming in from the nursery end. Oh, and that is a lovely shot from Fletcher. Boyton, sorry, he's just flicked that straight into the stands. 6 runs there.
Welcome to the attack.
Yes, welcome to the game. Oh my gosh. Not ideal, really. First ball for Chadwick, hit for 6.
I wonder his confidence any good, that first ball going
No, it won't.
straight over the tavern stand, or into the tavern stand, I should say.
And that's the 100 up for the Army as well. 101 for 3. Fletcher, 34 off 39 deliveries. Boyton, 11 off 9. These two building a steady partnership. Oh, that's a lovely shot. That's another 6. Oh, wow. Boyton again just swept that into the mount stand. We have to find that ball again.
It's taken a hammering, that particular ball, isn't it? And,
welcome to the game, Chadwick.
Chadwick
Welcome.
is, yeah, it is difficult opening 2 balls.
Let's see what his reply is. James Chadwick coming in for his 3rd ball. Flatter delivery. It's just been flicked into the offside. They've got the single for it. Better delivery.
Yeah, better line, wasn't it?
Yeah, much better. Chadwick's from Manchester.
It's almost where the last 2 sixes ended up.
I didn't say it. 108 for 3. Chadwick, 4th over from the nursery end. New bowler into the attack. Fletcher on strike. He's on 34. Chadwick comes in. He's driven straight back to the bowler. He does well to get to that. Attempts to run out the non-strike. He doesn't quite make it. There's no one backing up, so they take the single. Chadwick is still on the floor. Get up, come on.
I think it was born out of frustration, that throw at the stumps.
Yeah, that was, wasn't it?
Been hit for 2 sixes, but good 2-ball comeback since then.
Good intent, but just unfortunately no one to back up, so they took the single. Boyton on strike, left-hander. Chadwick into bowl from nursery end. Swept that. Oh, that's a lovely shot. 6 again for Boyton. He is loving Chadwick's bowling. Swept that over to the mount stand. That's the 3rd 6 of the over. 115 for 3. Boyton 24 off 12. Accelerated during this over. Chadwick coming in for his final ball of this over. That's been just driven to the onside. They'll do well to get that run. Comfortably in for 1. End of the over for Chadwick.
Yeah, you won't have enjoyed that opening over, Chadwick,
Quite
I don't think.
expensive, isn't
21 runs off it, and that'll set the nerves jangling for when he comes on again.
116 for 3 here at Lloyd's.
But just as I was saying, it was going to be a fairly tight game. The Army open up, and 116 for 3 now, increased the run rate to just under 8 and over, 7.7. So they are 2 in the middle. Boyton and Fletcher have clearly, well, maybe clearly not, but seem to have at least decided to accelerate.
4 overs left here. Run rate is 7.7. Fletcher 35, not out. Boyton 25, not out. 21 off that previous over. We'll have same bowler coming from the pavilion end, John. 21 off his 3 overs so far. This is 4th over. He'll be bowling to Boyton. John comes in from the pavilion end, bowls. They take the single. Attempted run out. There was very good backing up there. Speedy single there.
Yeah, I don't think even a direct hit would have caused a run out there.
Very quick.
Very quick.
117 for 3. Fletcher on strike. John continues, second ball of the over, bowls. Shorter delivery. Oh, he's been bowled. Lovely bowling from John. Slightly shorter ball, bowled. Fletcher. The bail is off.
Went for the big swash.
Yeah, big squash. Didn't quite pull it off. He's dismissed for 35. Excellent innings from him. 35 of 41 deliveries. The Army are 117 for 4.
Yeah, it's a good sound base to work from.
Yes.
I don't think at this precise moment he'll feel that necessarily as he walks off towards the, it's not the pavilion, he's going towards the Allen stand, which is where his teammates are all assembled.
My favourite game is trying to work out who's coming in next, Harry.
Yeah, think it's the scoreboard's favourite game as well. We're guessing it's Blackburn, but we won't know for sure until the scoreboard tells us.
Yeah, I think
it looks like it might be Narayan, yeah.
Narayan coming in for the Army.
Blackburn's being pushed further down.
Narayan's coming in. He's the new batsman. 117 for 4 here at Lords. Boynton still looking strong out there, 26 off 14. 4 overs left here. Let's see what they can do. So Narayan will be facing that ball. His hero's Brian Lara. Terry.
Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah, absolutely. And looks like he's an all-rounder. I've got some really cool figures.
Well, if this becomes Lara-esque, it'll be worth watching.
John coming in from the filling end. Narayan, lovely shot. Cut that down to maybe third man.
It's one of those shots that deserves more.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that
He's quick off the mark though.
the Navy won't think so, but
Yeah, it was a lovely shot. Really nicely timed. Boynton on strike, left-hander. The curveball. John coming in to bowl. And that's in the air to the onside. Will there be a fielder? Oh, that's a brilliant catch taken. Absolutely fantastic. The cap's off. He's doing a lap. His teammates are running towards him. That was a brilliant catch.
oh, well, you'll be hoping that somebody's filmed that. It's a catch going backwards.
He was not in the position. He was nowhere near the ball. Had to move backwards, get his hands there. I think even he's surprised he's pulled that off. A brilliant catch
That's Walnut
from the Navy.
Just a superb catch. When it left the bat, you thought, oh, this could be out. But then when you saw the trajectory, you thought, oh, actually, the fielder's not going to be favourite for this. But it's pulled up an absolute stunning catch.
Walnut, yeah, fantastic on the fielding as well. Brilliant catch there to dismiss.
Boynton it is, who's gone.
Yeah, Boynton's gone. 26 off 15 deliveries, 118 for 5.
That'll please the Navy. We've got 2 fresh batsmen in now.
Pressure's on now for the Army. Last 2 balls of this over from John. 2 wickets for him.
And Blackburn's moved even further down the orders. Dearden now.
Who have we got now? Right, let's have a look who we've got coming in. Ross Dearden, I believe. Shirt number 22. He will face John. Oh, he's from Stoke-on-Trent. That's not far from me. John coming in to bowl. Just defended that. Tapped it back. Slightly out of his crease, but take that as a dot. No run. Final ball of John's over. 118 for 5. 4 overs left here at Lords. Run rate is looking pretty solid. 7.5 for the Army.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's obviously until the Navy start batting, you don't know how good a score it is or how poor a score it is, but it'll be close.
John coming in. Bowls. Attempted flick. I don't think he actually got any bat on it. I think that'll be buys. They do run for the single though. Yeah, that's the umpire signal. Leg buys. 119 for 5. That's the end of the over. Dearden, new batter in, and Narayan on 1. The Army 119 for 5. I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Terry and welcome on Ben.
Yeah, I think 3 overs left. It's a slightly shortened innings. What the Navy will think, or the Army will think, is a par score. 3 overs left. Ben, what do you think? They'll be looking to try and maybe get up to 150 if they can. I mean, it might be a tight,
I think
bit of a stretch.
the Army would certainly have expected 150 with Fletcher and Boynton going so well, but Jerome John making a crucial double strike in this last over to get rid of both of them. If they get to 150 from here, it would be a remarkable effort. These batters have only faced 3 balls between them.
We've got a change of bowling. Johnson, it'll be captain from the nursery end.
And a good competitive game.
It has. And just when you thought maybe the Army would be taking control, they've sort of grabbed wickets at important times. They've got themselves right back into this game, I'd say, and I mean, I know it's a fairly obvious thing to say, but these last 3 overs could decide where this decision will go. As, Johnson coming in, first ball just punched away, fielded just a quick single.
We've got 2 fielders right back on the drive here, Terry. So if it's full and straight, we have a long on and a long off that could come into play, and the other deep fielder is on the cover boundary, on that short boundary, just in front of the scorer's box.
Well, it's certainly the way the Navy have bowled to try and keep the batsman from hitting it straight rather than sweeping it either side and driving it. Can Johnson continue that as opening bowls? This time, I think he's outside edge. Run away to point. Quick single taken. Score moves on to 121 for 5.
Ryan and Dearden don't really have any time to play themselves in. They've just got to take every run that comes their way and try to fashion at least singles.
Dearden on strike as Johnson comes in again. He bowls. It's a sort of tried to paddle it over the keeper towards the pavilion, didn't get enough on it, and straight through to the keeper, no run.
I think it was an attempted ramp, but I think it's the first time I've seen an attempted ramp stepping outside the line of off stump.
He's an ambitious one.
Go straight forward.
Johnson comes in again. This time launches it down here towards long off and away. Did that actually clear the boundary, or did it bounce
no,
once?
It went straight up. We do have a long off right back on the road. It was such a beautiful timing, such a high elbow, good flow of the bat, straight. Again, showing the maker's name to us here in the commentary position, and it just had too much elevation, even if you were stood right on the rope, straight over.
It's a decent length boundary to hit in front of the Edrich stand. This time, good recovery from Johnson. Throws through to the keeper. 7 for 5 now. The last ball of Johnson's 3rd over. Just moving forward now. Up to the creasy bowls. It's another huge hit in the same direction towards long off. This one won't have the legs, and it almost got picked off and caught, but in fairness to I think that's Charles Rutter down here, long off boundary, he ran in and just dived for it, just couldn't get there. Good attempt to cap the catch.
Because he was right down on the rope, must have been at least a dozen yards or so. I think he did very well, perhaps.
I think he did.
No more than that.
He'll probably be a little bit annoyed himself. He shouldn't be, because it's a valiant attempt at the catch. Didn't quite come off, and I think Dearden would have had his heart in his mouth for a moment there. He escapes, he survives, and it's 129 for 5 as we enter into the last 2 overs of the innings.
150 still on. I think 150 will be a very competitive score. The outfield has quickened up a little bit, but I think it's still a competitive score. This is a slowish pitch. It's a true pitch, but slowish.
Well, it's going to come on for his last over. 3 for 22 his figures at the moment, which respectable enough. 7.5 or 7.6 is the run rate currently. It's gone for 22.
Yeah, so the Navy will have to make a decision on who bowls the final over, because this has to be Romanek's last, because he's already had 3. Johnston presumably will bowl the next over from the other end, so they have to find another bowler from somewhere.
It's very full delivery, even slightly a full toss, and it's punched away down towards mid-wicket. Couple of runs taken there, 131 rather for 5. And yeah, it's a decision to be made, because Johnson it's gone for 20 in his first 3 overs. You'd expect it to be him. So when it comes in again, he bowls. Oh, and he's a good delivery, and he's bowled him.
Yeah, there's an attempted slog sweep there, and I think he might have bottom edged that. Leg stump is rocked back. Narayan just trying to accelerate the scoring rate, just not quite connecting, a little bit late on the shot.
Too much pace on the delivery, I think, for that shot. It, went through him before he had time to pull the trigger.
Well, Romanek was certainly getting some pace and some seam movement in his first spell earlier this afternoon, and yes, I'd agree. I was a little bit late on that shot. 131 for 6, and wickets coming. There's never a good time to lose a wicket, but this is coming at the worst possible time for the Army as they look to accelerate.
Yeah, just at the point where you thought the Army were going to accelerate and probably had the game, had the upper hand in the game. You've got to give credit to the Navy for coming back into this game, taking wickets, as you say, firstly at vital moments, and then have continued to do so in the final few overs. And 31 for 6 now, with another new batsman coming in with only, what are we looking at now? 8 deliveries to, no, sorry, 10 deliveries to affect the scoring. So there's no time to bed himself in. Is new batsman Hawksworth?
Yes, I can tell you Aidan Hawksworth is a special purpose rifleman.
I'd love to know what that means.
He'll be gunning for Romney.
What a special purpose rifle is it? If you know, please let us know. But, he's going to face Romanek, who's difficult to get away in the bowls. And not only is he difficult to get away, he's been bowled. Hat-trick ball coming up. There's a little bit of discussion between Hawksworth and Romanek as the pair passed after that delivery. Romanek clearly buoyed by 2 wickets and 2 balls.
Yes, Hawksworth stopped to say something to the umpire. I don't think there was any question about the legality of the delivery. Might have been some verbals or something.
No, I think they just spoke.
Dismissal.
Yeah, they spoke to each other as Hawksworth disappeared, the victim of a duck.
Yeah, no doubt about the dismissal, swinging through the line, missing.
Just reminding them that it was a duck, and maybe that irked Hawksworth a bit, as you would expect. And Schofield is going to face the hat-trick ball.
Well, it's a nerve-wracking time for any batter to come out. Nicholas Schofield, I can tell you, is a bombardier. 3 deliveries of this over remaining. Dearden stuck at the other end unbeaten on 9 off 7 deliveries. And if the Navy were to restrict the Army for 150, particularly a few minutes ago, if somebody had told us that with Fletcher and Boynton going so well earlier on, I'd have said that was fantastic effort. The Army have really gone hard at the Navy for most of this innings. They've scored at 7 and over thereabouts most of the time, and the Navy are roaring into this competition. They're really pegging the Army back.
The crowd are involved in the hat-trick ball. It's up. Romanek delivers it, and there's a thick outside edge from a swipe by Schofield, and he's got away with it. It's run down just to us here at the fine leg boundary, and it is a 4.
Schofield determined to go down swinging, and that ball fairly raced away, actually. Outfield's quickened up. You've got a bit of help with the slope going down there as well. 4 very precious runs for the Army.
I often wonder what goes through the mind of a batsman when he's facing a hat-trick ball, and I think we just know what went through Schofield's mind. It's all or nothing as Romanek comes in for his 5th delivery, and this time it's punched out to the side. The throw comes in. It's a scampered single. Throw going in at the bowler's end. Didn't look that far away from the stumps.
That ball pinged off a leading edge and bounced only just in front of Jerron John, who fielded that very well. Kept it to 1. That ball went to him pretty quickly, but Dearden is back on strike, which could be crucial, although there's only 1 delivery in this over left.
Romanek steps up to bowl it, and big swipe outside the off stump. I think Dearden was having some help from the umpire to suggested it was wide, but I don't think it was. The umpire didn't think so either, more importantly, and it remains 136 for 7 as we approach the final over.
There's a bit of a wild swing up periscope, slog sweep there from Dearden, trying to hit the ball somewhere into Wellington Road and not connecting. 139 for 7, 2 overs left, and you'd have to say the pressure was on the Army.
Yeah, I think so, especially when you consider the start we had, and certainly in the middle overs. You said it just now, Ben, that the Army looked favourite to comfortably get to 150, but now they'll... I mean, they still might, 14 runs short of it currently, and there'll be a lot of pressure on Johnson will bowl this final over as a result. If he can kick them to below 150, I think it'll be a job well done.
Well, it's going to be Johnston to bowl this over, but remember, Romanek is now bowled out, Terry, so they've got to find another over from somewhere, someone that hasn't bowled for a little while, so pressure will transfer back onto the Navy.
But according to the scoreboard, we are in the final over, so I don't know if it's been reduced to a 19-over game. Scoreboard is telling us there's 1 over left.
Yes, what is.
Although this is a scoreboard that told us Kent were playing, so I mean,
Well, it could be 1 over left after this over.
we are assuming it's correct. We're not dissing the people who
Well,
do
Kent were batting just not today. That was about a week ago.
So, assuming this is the final over.
In fact, I believe that's what it is. It's like his 1,000th first wicket.
Look at
Middlesex against Kent.
knowledge. Johnson steps up for his second ball of his final over, delivers, and swung straight down the ground. Oh, it's almost a fantastic catch, almost, but not quite. What a great effort down on this
That was
long off
Finley
boundary.
Marks. He ran about 10 yards in from the long off boundary, and I think the ball might have bounced out of his fingers. He did awfully well to get to the ball at all, because it was aerial, yes, but that was hit like a rocket.
Just as third delivery comes in from Johnson. Is that a bouncer? Or just seriously ducked by Dearden? But I think the only person happy with that catch was dropped was Warner, because he's currently on for catch of the day. Whereas if Marks had got to that, I think it would have trumped it by some distance.
Catch. Very, very athletic, very, very brave effort.
Johnson in to the stumps he bowls, and a swipe by Dearden that he didn't catch. Just hit it straight into the ground. Johnson fields off his own bowling. There's no run. The score remains at 139 for 7 with 2 balls left, and then we'll find out whether it is a 19 over game for sure, I suppose.
Johnston might try a short one, bring deep square leg into play, or just keep bowling length.
Find out now if he's in any bowls. It's a full toss, in fact, but Dearden punches away, and he could be caught out. Oh, if that had been a direct hit, then he'd gone. Instead, he gets an overthrow, which probably won't please Johnson, the bowler. But the Army can.
Spectators at moving an iron after every ball, after every time the fielder touches the ball.
Well, we said before this began, this match, that the Army, they've won 2 on the trot. They're probably favourites to win again. But Navy have done extremely well here, and Johnson will come in for his final ball of the over, and it's swiped away, and then this will go for 4 in front of the mound stand. Good flourish, if that is the final ball from Dearden.
Overs left, so it is 19 overs bowled, 145 for 7, so 146 required off 19. I would say that's a competitive score. The Army will probably have entertained thoughts of more, with Bonson and Fletcher going so well earlier in the innings. Crucial double strike from Troy John to get rid of both of them in his last over, but that's still a good score, and the Navy will need to get off to a really good start and keep some wickets in hand for the last half dozen overs or so to get over the line.
Well, the Army will hope that they restrict the run over as they did at the same fixture last year. Restricted run over to 128 for 9 in the 20 overs, and ended up winning by 43 runs. So they'll hope to replicate that bowling performance. But the pressure is on them, I'd say.
Yes, certainly. And the Army was certainly talking up their chances on Forces.net leading up to this game. They have won this competition 3 years in a row. They are a very good side, but they've been given a good contest by the Navy. Crucial wickets falling late in the innings, but they've still got runs on the board, and this is still a competitive total. Very much looking forward to the resumption of the
Rate of 7.6 in that 145 for 7. I mean, you'd almost obviously say it depends on the start that the Navy get. They're looking for a good start, good solid base to chase this total down.
Yes, I mean, if they can get, say, 40 runs in the first 6 overs, something like that, and maybe only lose 1 along the way, I think that would be a good start. I think it's the outfield has quickened up a bit, but the pitch is a little bit sluggish, and as the ball gets a little bit on, it's not going to swing very much, even if it does. But if they can get something like that.
Well, thank you for joining us here at Lord's for the Inter-Services T20. We are halfway through the day now. The Army up against the Royal Navy senior men, and the Army have put on a total of 145 for 7. Will that be enough to save them for embarrassment, I suppose, against the Navy? But the Navy have played a stupendous fielding game. But I'm delighted to be joined by someone who should be playing but is injured and has decided to help coach the Army this year. Last year's man of the tournament, Tade Carmichael. And Tade, looking at the boundaries out there being played today, I'm sure you would have been playing, rather be playing than coaching and watching.
Yeah, well, I love to be out there today, being part of the playing 11, helping out whatever way I can. Yeah.
What's it like we asked you last year because you were hitting some big hits last summer. What's it like to score a 6 or a 4 or even just play here at Lord's?
Yeah, it's a really great feeling, from growing up at a young age. You watch on telly, you see, England playing at Lord's, and everyone talks about home of cricket and stuff. And to be here at Lord's is amazing, and hitting them over the ropes is something I'm going to think about when I get old,
Yeah, exactly. Something you'll be able to tell the grandkids, as they say. The Army then have put on 145 for 7. Do you think that's a good score from your perspective as an Army player? Would you have hoped for a bit more? How are they looking at this halfway stage? Yeah,
I think 145 is just about par, but we'd like to get like 150, 160, but we'll take 145. With the bowling attack that we have, 100% we're going to defend that total.
You could see towards the end there, the wickets were going, but that was them just trying to get on as many runs as they could, especially the captain, Jay Boynton, trying to get as many sixes as he could in to up that total. Yeah, it was a good innings there from Jay. He pretty much, at one time, he was up a little bit behind at one stage, but with the knock he played, get us back on track, and yeah, we're pretty much happy with that total. And it'll be people like Jay who you'll be looking for from the bowling figures as well, with his funny, little run up that he has. What other names should we be looking for in your bowling lineup? Yeah, so we have Spice Narayan, we have Ross Dayton, really good bowlers. Who else? We have. There is a young guy who is coming leg spinner, Hayden, really good, and he's someone to look out for as well. You're missing this year. Graham Wiseman is missing. There's some big names, but the Army now reigning champions for the last 2 years. You'll be hoping that going into that game against the RAF, it'll be 1 win to the RAF and 1 win to the Army. Yeah, Mian Wise is a big miss for the Army team, but it's good that we have some young players coming through. They could get an opportunity to showcase their talent and show what they're made of. Well, thank you very much, Tade, and you probably need to get back to coach that Army side to winning ways for their second half of the match against the Navy. Now, of course, the RAF and the Royal Navy have already played. They played last Friday down in Portsmouth. Because there can only be 2 men's games here at Lord's, we had to play the first game in Portsmouth last Friday. That ended in a win for the RAF, but here are some of the highlights. Well, do you know what? I'm keeping everything crossed because the weather gods so far have been pretty kind here. The weather forecast today at Lord's was atrocious in the week leading up to this tournament. But apart from a 5-minute delay at the start of this game, we have been pretty lucky. So let's join our commentary team from the MCC for the second half of this game between the British Army and the Royal Navy.
Broom, which I hadn't seen up to this point, so pleased it's still around.
The Hogwarts broom? Who calls it that?
I'd call it that. It's the one that Harry Potter flies on.
So it's a Gryffindor Hogwarts?
Quite probably.
Okay. Well, I did not know that.
Well, it hadn't made an appearance until now, so I was a little disappointed up to this point, but my faith has been restored.
Well, if anybody knows where Slytherin, Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff fit into this equation, do let us know on ballbyball@lords.org. We're broadcasting live on the Lords website and also on the Forces News YouTube channel. They're bringing live pictures for us at the moment and bringing our commentary feed as well. The umpires are just making their way back out into the middle. The Army are in the field already. They've been doing some fielding drills, so they're very keen. We'll be seeing the Royal Navy openers in a few moments.
And while you do that, batsmen come out. The microphone over to Ravenous.
Okay, thank you very much, Terry. We'll see you back on the airwaves a little bit later, weather permitting. We should say that at this stage. The weather has been kind. Just going to do a little bit of musical chairs. The weather has been kind. The forecast has got better and better every time I've checked the app, so that is encouraging. It's not bathed in sunshine, that's for sure, but we've got some patches of blue, and there's certainly no immediate danger of any rain. I can tell you our first bowler is going to be Nicholas Schofield, the Bombardier. And the Navy are chasing 146, and they've got 19 overs to get them. We've lost 1 over in each innings. The openers are Johnston, who bowled so creditably for the Navy, the Navy's captain, of course. He's on strike, and his opening partner is Rogers at the other end. We'll get back to Rogers in a moment, and here is Schofield up to the wicket now and bowls. That's a very tight delivery outside the line of off stump, pushed to the covers, and Rogers takes a single straight away. And that was very good, confident running, because that ball went to short extra cover very quickly, and the Navy committed to the run straight away. So the Navy have made their intentions clear. I think they're going to be bold, and they're not going to hang in there for a couple of overs. I think they're going to go after the bowling from the start.
Yes, I think that was almost a statement of objective, wasn't it?
That single actually coming to Rogers. It was Rogers that faced the first ball there. William Rogers, Captain William Rogers, and Johnston gets a short delivery, but he pulls that a little bit too straight, and it goes straight to mid-on, who picks it up on the bounce. That's Ross Dearden, Warrant Officer Ross Dearden, fielding in that position. And there is no run. Schofield bowling very straight, just maybe slightly back of a length with that delivery. Here he is bowling to the left-handed Johnston, who pulls this time. He gets it to short mid-wicket, and the Army they're buzzing in the field. That ball went straight to short mid-wicket, and he picked it up very, very cleanly, threw it straight back at the striker's end. And here is Schofield coming up to the wicket now, bowls. This is a little bit shorter, it's hammered through the covers, that's beaten the field, and that's going to go all the way through to the tavern stand before. That was a lovely shot there from Johnston, the Navy captain. A good statement of intent from the Navy, and they're 5 without loss, 4 deliveries into their innings.
Yes, that was pure timing. He really timed that well. I mean, the minute it left the bat, there was only one place it was going to go, and that's the boundary.
Yes, I think you can get a sense of how good the timing is by how much or how little time the fielders have to react. There's nothing they could do about that. That's outside the line of off stump. Johnston's happy to allow that to go through to the keeper, and there's no run. So 141 required from this point. 109 balls remaining, including this one. The Last ball of the first over, bowled by Schofield. Here he is now. That's a much fuller delivery. It's an attempt to work onto the leg side, and he actually squirts the ball into short extra cover. There's not going to be a run there. So that's the end of the over. 5 runs coming from it, and I'm already sensing this is going to be a bit of an epic, actually.
It is, yes, and a good opening over by Schofield, and good aggressive batting by the batters. They've decided it's going to be a very competitive match, this one. It's an achievable target, but it's not all that easy either, so it's perfectly poised.
Well, it's going to be Army captain Jonathan Boynton to bowl the next over, and I think the Army are going for pace off the ball. As I recall, Boynton's a spin bowler.
He is, you're right.
So they're going for pace off the ball. He's going to be bowling to Rogers, who has one delivery so far. See what we've got here in the field. So the third man has moved up to the 30-yard circle. The fielders in the deep are protecting the short boundary on the leg side. So we have a deep square leg and a long on. On the offside, we've got short extra cover and a mid-off. And this ball is played defensively. And in fact he played down the wrong line there because the ball's gone through to the keeper and there is no run. Sam Blackburn, Lance Sargent Sam Blackburn is behind the stumps, I believe. And here comes Boynton up to the wicket now and bowls. This is outside the line of off stump. It's worked behind square on the leg side. There's an appeal for a run out, but the umpire is unmoved. It looked like the batter made his ground reasonably comfortably. It's certainly a tight single though.
Yeah, it looked from here as if it was well within his ground, but it was a very strong appeal. Of course, they have no benefit of any replays or anything at this level, so the umpire was not interested in giving that out.
Yeah, so I wonder if that puts more pressure on you as an umpire or less pressure on you as an umpire.
Probably more.
Probably more, because it's all down to you.
Yeah.
But at least if there is an error, it's not going to be broadcast. It looked like a completed single to me. So Boynton going back to his mark.
I remember Boynton. I don't know if you do, from last year. He's got a very unique start to his bowling action. You'll see there's a couple of flaps almost. He flaps his arms before he starts. Just watch this.
Okay. Yes. Oh, yes. Very much so. Yes. It's almost like a bird about to take off.
Exactly.
And that's hammered down to long on. There's a bit of a fumble there, and the batters are going to go through to one. I have not seen that before.
It's unique.
I've seen bowlers that do a sort of a windmill action before they've even started their run-up, but I've never seen anyone just lift both arms to the perpendicular twice before the start of a run-up, which is what Boynton is doing here, bowling quite wide of the crease. This is played to short extra cover. It's a packed field on the offside, all inside the 30-yard circle. There's no run there. So pace off the ball in this over is putting a little bit of pressure back on the Navy. They've got a score at around 7.5 and over. This is a straighter delivery which is swung away to mid-wicket. The ball is picked up just in front of the rope, in front of Old Father Time. There's 1 run taken there. And so that takes Rogers on to 3, 8 without loss, 1 delivery remaining in the second over. And the Navy are chasing 146 off 19, 1 over taken off each innings because of a slightly delayed start this afternoon when there was a threat of rain. This is wider of off stump. It's hammered through the covers, and that's a good sliding stop by deep cover point. Just a 1 run taken. That's 9 without loss, 2 overs bowled.
Yes, and it was a very good sliding stop because it was hit very hard, and then he stopped it while sliding, got up and threw in a perfect throw to the bowler's end.
It was over bowled as well, so 17 overs remaining. We'll keep reminding ourselves it's 19 for the innings. And it is going to be Schofield to continue. He's going to be bowling to the Navy's captain, Johnston. That's outside the line of off stump, and that's beaten the keeper. It's gone down to third man's, picked up inside the 30-yard circle, and that's a bye signal. It's a little bit frustrating there from the Army. Schofield just pushing that ball out, trying to encourage the batter to reach for it there, and he didn't need to do anything. Schofield now bowling to Rogers, who's 3 not out. This is slightly back of a length. It's worked down to square leg, and that's a comfortable single. Maybe just ticking off these runs carefully at the moment. Run rate's just a shade below 5. They'll need to up that shortly, but not just at the moment. The important thing is to keep wickets in hand and to try and time your acceleration. This is played behind square on the offside with very soft hands, sort of steered just behind point. It's only going to be one. But cool heads out there in the middle for the Navy as they chase what we all agree is a competitive target from the Army. Could easily have been more, but crucial wickets falling to the Navy in the last 4 or 5 overs of the Army's innings earlier this afternoon. This is an attempted work around the corner. It's down the leg side. The umpire signalled wide, and they did in fact take a run as well. So Schofield just losing his radar a little bit in this over. First over was better, I think.
Yes, and also they're keen to take the singles in Navy, so that puts pressure on the bowler as well.
Schofield to Johnston, who tries to swing this over to the leg side, and he hasn't made contact properly. The ball crashes into his pad, and I think he might have hurt himself there.
Yes.
I don't know if that was his knee or a hamstring or something, but it was an awkward twist as he tried to hit that ball.
He immediately signalled that he was in pain. I think it's just about the knee, above the knee roll, perhaps.
Well, he's going to take a minute here. He's in conference with the other batter. He's going back to his crease now, so I assume he's okay to continue. I don't think we'll see any fast singles being taken off this delivery at any rate. This is back of length. It's hammered into the covers. It's picked up just outside the 30-yard circle. The ball was in the air for a while, bounced just in front of cover, and the batters take a single.
I'm afraid, although it's looking bright, I can see some drops of rain. I know it's mostly logical because it's bright skies, but I can see a few drops of rain.
Yes, so can I. It doesn't look terminal at the moment. They'll try and play through this over if they can. This is down a leg side, and it's worked down to fine leg, and the batter's run through for a single. I've got to be honest, I don't think Johnston was at top pace running that single. I think that was, he's possibly a little bit of discomfort in his knee after that miscue pull shot earlier, sort of a swivel pull, wasn't it, with his feet stuck in the crease. This next delivery is, he's hit on the pad and the umpire's given him. Johnston is gone. Little bit late on the shot. Looked to be on the line of off stump on the knee roll.
I think it was Plum, yeah, that was Plum, and I can't help but think that that injury perhaps has affected him.
Well, that's a crucial strike from the Army. Now, even with my very basic rudimentary knowledge of Messrs Duckworth and Lewis, I can tell you that we're a bit too early in the piece to have Duckworth and Lewis calculations, but when we do have them, you always need to have a few more runs on the board after you've lost a wicket. The runs required at that point, the innings goes up and up. And crucial strike from the Army, 17 for 1. 3 overs bowled. And Schofield has 1 for 11 off his 2 overs.
An eventful over. So Schofield is now 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 11. And Boynton at the other end has just had the 1 over for 4 runs.
The new batter is Rodri Davies. He's a leading engineer technician. That's his rank, and he will need to engineer a recovery from 17 for 1 after 3 overs, chasing 146. And I'm afraid they don't get any better than that. I mean, that's my
No, that was very good.
It's the best I could ad lib at the time. It's going to be Boynton, the Army captain, to continue with that very, unique pre-run-up ritual of his, where he sort of flaps his arms. Bowling wide of the crease, it's outside off stump, and Rogers is happy to allow that to go through to the keeper, and there's no run. I'm racking my brains. Honestly, I can think of a few bowlers that do a sort of a windmill action, but I've never seen any bowler basically flap their arms above hip height before they run up. This is work around the corner down to square leg, and that's going to be a comfortable single there for Rogers. So that will bring Davies on strike for the first time.
I'm just wondering if it would be a bit of a distraction for the batsman, actually.
Well, possibly, but you've still got a second after that point to think about the mind of the ball, haven't you? Here is Boynton in the third delivery of his second over, coming in from the pavilion end, very wide of the crease. And this is played with a straight bat straight into the onside, where it's picked up at the short mid-wicket region. And there's no run. Davies is going to have a look, I think. He's not keen to get after this bowling straight away. He played that ball very late. Very straight. And this delivery is an attempt to squirt it out onto the offside, and the other batsman, he wants a single, and he had to be sent back. Goodness me, Rogers was halfway down the track before Davies sent him back, and he really had to scramble to get home.
I mean, to be fair to Davies, at no stage did he leave his own crease, and Rogers just kept coming, and then took an age to decide to go back.
Right, Boynton to Davies, outside line of off stump. That's played through the covers. That's a nicely timed shot. That's beaten the field. It won't go to the boundary, but they'll have time to run too. And that's what nerves do. So suddenly people aren't singing from the same song sheet anymore. One batter wanted the single, the other one definitely didn't. One delivery remaining in this over. We're in the fourth over, 15 to come after this. 146 is the target, 20 for 1 at the moment. And here comes Boynton. In fact, there's going to be a short delay just as the field gets into position. We've got 5 fielders saving 1 on the offside. This is hit to cover point, and that's a tumbling stop, and a single is taken before the fielder can return the ball to the keeper. So that takes us to the end of an eventful fourth over. The Navy are 21 for 1, chasing 146 with 15 remaining. And after a few more words from Avinash, I will hand back to Niam Radia.
So, 21 for 1, the Navy, in response to the Army's 145 for 7, so 146 to win. The weather is sunny, but there is the threat of rain in the air, so at some stage the weather may well affect this match. It's a very high standard of cricket, both bowling and batting. I think there's going to be a change of bowling from this nursery end. Just waiting for that to come up on the... Yes, it's Reardon. Looks like a slow left armer. Slow left arm round the wicket from the nursery end. And that first ball is carefully watched and left by the batter, taken by the wicketkeeper. Hello, Niam.
Hello, Avinash. It's Ross Dearden who's bowling from the nursery end.
Oh, and that next ball is hit in the air. The bowler tried to catch it, but it was too fast and too hard, and actually just above his arms. Fielded by mid-off. 21 for 1. Davies on strike at the pavilion end. He's 3 not out. And in comes Dearden. That's a nice ball. Almost trapped him. I didn't know what was happening with that. And gets lots of applause from the wicketkeeper and his teammates. Got some encouragement for him. Perfect line and length that was. In he comes again. Round the wicket. Slightly shorter ball this time. And that's pushed out onto the offside by Davies.
He's got quite a skiddy action, hasn't he?
He has.
Not particularly tall. Whips it in.
Next ball is played out onto the covers, where the fielder from the boundary comes in and fields, and they grab another quick single. So 22 for 1 with Rogers now on strike. He's on 4 not out, and Davies is also on 4. The Army are very businesslike in their fielding. Lots of claps, lots of encouragement. There's a reverse sweep attempted there, and it's gone. The ball is won't make it to the boundary, but it's gone through the third area.
I wonder if that was a catching opportunity.
I think it probably was, but he was a little late to be alert to that fielder there.
It was a reverse paddle sweep.
Yeah.
And it may have just caught the top edge of the bat.
I don't think we've seen anybody attempt that shot yet today, that I can recall anyway.
Always worth trying something new.
Especially on that short boundary, you'd think more people would do that.
Yeah,
Much.
I guess it just depends on the situation of the game.
Yeah.
But even now, I think, even, you know, for the Navy, it seems a little bit Risky.
So Boynton it is to continue from the pavilion end. 2 flaps and in he comes. 24 for 1.
I know Ben was saying that he's never seen someone who has the flap of a...
It is unique, isn't it, this action? I remember it from last year.
It reminds you of Harbhajan Singh.
Yeah, although... and the next ball is hit into the air over mid-off. And it's going to make it 2 bounces and across the ropes. That's 4 runs to Davis. He goes on to 8. And the score moves on to 28 for 1.
That was a good shot. Picked up off a length over the mid-off fielder.
The run rate for the Navy is getting better. And he comes again. Right arm over the wicket. It's a quicker delivery. And the batter just pushes that out onto the offside. And there's no run. I'm very impressed with the pace of play. No time wasting at all there. Just getting on with it very quickly. Boynton in his 3rd over. He's played out onto the offside. The fielder coming in fast from cover point. Actually doesn't pick it up cleanly, and they take a quick single.
Running those quick singles to the infield, it puts pressure on the fielders.
It does. And, that's where the misfields happen, and keeps the scoreboard ticking along. Boynton from the pavilion. This next ball is played into the air over mid-wicket. It hits the one of the boxes, the sort of advertising hoarding just below one of the boxes in the mound stand. 6 runs to Rogers, who goes on to 12.
Fantastic shot there.
Picked it up very quickly.
He got down very quickly. The ball was relatively straight, and it was a big slog sweep over the square leg.
So the run rate now 6, which is where they need to be. 35 for 1. He has another sweep, as it were, but this ball's gone on too long on. Nicely fielded, and there's just the 1 run in there. So Rogers is 13 and Davis on 9.
And it shows the intent of the batters, given that the leg side boundary is the short boundary. Anything that's relatively straight, even if you don't quite connect with it, you generally do have the power to get it up and over the infield, or at least over the boundary rope.
Yes, even the technically not so correct shots will get you runs on that side. So there is a temptation to try and push everything through the leg side, through that side. So they were, the Army were 39 for 2 at this stage in their innings, and the Navy are 36 for 1. So not much in it. Not much in it at all. 1 wicket.
110 to win of 78 balls for the Navy.
So Dearden from the nursery end. And Rogers just pushes that out onto the offside. There's a silly throw in there, which has cost them a 2nd run because the wicketkeeper couldn't take it, and he ran all the way down to the long leg area.
And one would have assumed there that the fielder at extra cover, when he picked it up, would have just held the ball.
Exactly, there was no need for that at all. Left arm round the wicket, reverse sweep played again, and this time the fielder back at point makes a diving stop, a nice stop, and that's going to be out. That's going to be out. I'm not sure quite what happened there. That's definitely out. I mean, he's challenging the umpire's decision. He's not very happy with it, but we could see even from here that he was way out. And I think it's down to slow running on his part, frankly.
I'm surprised. It went to the right-handed fielder, who picked it up, dived on his right-hand side, picked it up with his right hand, threw it in. It was a bit of a risky 2nd run.
It really was. And yeah, unnecessary wicket they lost there, the Navy.
I'm certainly surprised that they went for that 2nd run. And it seems that the batter that is out is Rogers,
yes.
who was the opening batter, who was the most settled, who was the most settled batter.
He was going very well. He scored 15 runs off 12 deliveries, and I think because it wasn't the easiest of balls to field, they took the 2nd, and I think had they run it quickly, the second was there, but he then kind of was just jogging along for that second run, and then all of a sudden that throw, it was a good throw in, and was run out. So 38 for 2, the Navy, in response to 145 for 7 from the Army. We're just waiting to see who the new batter is. Scoreboard hasn't quite updated yet. Whoever it is, he's been hit on the pads on his first ball from facing from Dearden.
I will let you know as soon as I find out.
No question of any appeal from the Army. Dearden ready and waiting for the batter to settle down. In he comes. Again, just played straight back to him by the batter, whose name is still not made known to us. Dearden. Slightly wider, and a better ball which nearly trapped the batter. Score remains at 39 for 2, and it's Marks. The new batter is Marks.
Finley Marks.
And the next one he very correctly plays out by way of a forward defensive shot onto the covers.
Finley Marks, who's a Marine. His cricketing hero is Ian Bell, one of the most technically gifted batters I've ever seen.
Yes, he certainly was. So that's 7 overs completed now, 39 for 2. The Navy in response to the Army's 145 for 7. The ground now bathed in bright sunshine, shadows everywhere, it's nice to see, and a really nice crowd. Lots of people on the benches outside the pavilion, all the members, and then the mound stand, the tavern stand, and quite a few of the boxes in the grandstand occupied as well. There's going to be Benson coming on from the pavilion end, new bowler, and he is right arm off spin, it looks like, and his first ball is just played out onto the leg side by Davies.
This is Jake Benson.
So Jake Benson, the new bowler, Private Jake Benson, comes in for his second ball, which is driven onto the offside for just a single, as the fielder from long on comes in and sends that ball back to the bowler. His cricketing hero is James Anderson. Who can blame him for that?
Let's hope he bats how Jimmy Anderson bowls.
A late cut shot played there by Marks, and they go through for a single. I think they're going to come back for the second because the throw coming in was quite hard and they couldn't hold on to it. And so they've taken a second run as well.
They have taken a second run. So the ball came in, it hit the batter as he was sliding his bat in, and they ran for a second. Now that's quite contentious.
They were looking at the umpire there, but I mean, it is within the rules.
It is within the rules, but it's sometimes, depending on who you ask, it's frowned upon.
And this next ball from Benson is just played out of the offside. The batter thought about a single, but there was a very loud no from the other end. A wise decision. 42 for 2. 2 balls left in the 8th over. Marks is on strike at 2 not out. And he sweeps this ball out onto the leg side. I think that's going to make it to the boundary. Yes, it is. That's 4 runs to Marks. A nicely played shot. You cannot afford to drift onto the leg side in this match if you're bowling from the pavilion end to a right-hander. So 46 for 2. And the last ball of this over from Benson. First over from Benson coming up. And this is played out onto the onside. There is no run. and the score remains at 46 for 2 after 8 overs. I'm going to hand over now to Amber and leave you in the hands of Neil.
And one thing that's been a theme of this inning so far is, from the Navy side, the willingness to run quickly between the wickets and run the first one hard, and even if it's going to a fielder, then try to run. We saw that was to their detriment on the previous wicket, as Rogers was run out. And from the Army, from the fielding side, they've bowled a number of slower bowlers. So we've had spinners from both ends. But as I say that, it is Benson to continue from the nursery, and left arm round the wicket, who pushes it into the offside, does marks, and they run through, as I said, for a quick single. As I welcome Amber.
Hello. Navy had quite an accelerated start, didn't they? And then that run out, quite a confusing run out in the previous over, well, the 6th over, I should say. It was a quite breakthrough for the Army.
Indeed. And Dearden continues from the nursery end. I think I said it was Benson before, but it was Benson on the previous over. It's Dearden this time. There was a brief appeal for a run out, but I don't think there was very much in it at all. And this is Davies, who's facing the bowling of left arm round Dearden. And that's down the leg side. That may be given a wide if it didn't touch anything, and they run through. They're going to go for a second run, it looks like. And it's picked up by the fielder at short third man, who throws the ball in. And that is indeed wides, as we suspected. Now the field is heavily protected on the leg side boundary, with the deep mid-wicket and deep backward square leg, and a conventional mid-wicket as well as a long on. And I'll talk you through the offside field in a second, but that's just defended into the offside by Davies, and they run through for a quick single. He slides his bat, and that's potential overthrows, but no. Marks, I think rightly there, talks him away from that second run.
I think they just about got away with that one. They just had fielding back up that one just about. Didn't get the 2.
That brings Marks on strike. He's on 6 after 8 deliveries. 50 for 2 is the score. Did nice and flat that delivery, and just pushed into the leg side to the fielder at mid-wicket from Marks, and no runs scored off that ball. Dearden's now bowled 4 balls this over. Number 22 scampers in with his low trajectory, nice and fast. This one nice and straight, and defended back to the bowler by Marks. The score is still 50 for 2.
96 to win off 11 overs. The pressure starting to add to the Navy.
It is indeed. And big swing. This has gone over the infield, over point, and that's run away, 1 bounce, 4 runs.
That was a lovely shot, well timed.
There was only one fielder out there on the offside. There was a deep cover, and everybody else was inside the circle. And Davies knew that if he gave that one a bit of a swing outside the off stump, it was likely to go over the infield, and it did indeed. 1 bounce, 4.
It was a really good shot, great contact, hit into the gap as well, because we have got a fielder on the 2 fielders deep out on that boundary, but managed to get in the gap. And 4 runs.
54 for 2, 55 for 2, excuse me, is the score. Change of ends. We have Benson to continue from the pavilion end. Right arm over the wicket. The off spin of Benson is outside the off stump, and Marks tried to sweep that one away from outside off stump to that short boundary on the leg side. So again, a leg side field of long on, deep mid wicket, deep backward square leg, and a conventional short mid wicket. As Benson continues, nice high bound. This one outside the off stump, tries to cut that one away, probably just inside the blue line.
Didn't quite get there. The previous one was an attempted sweep. This one tried to cut it, didn't get there.
Correct. You have a short third man, a short backward point, an extra cover, deep cover, and a long off on the offside. Benson continues, bowls. This one straight and driven, straight down past the bowler to long off, who collects it, and they run through for a second. This one won't be tight at all.
Very good running.
That was very good running. They ran that first one hard. That's been a theme of this inning so far.
Run rate 6 at the moment. They've got 10 overs left. 89 to win.
And just the 57 deliveries left. Benson to continue. Halfway through his over already. He bowls this one straight, and he again pushed to that fielder at long off, who collects it just in the middle of the pavilion, and he underarm throws it back to the bowler. And you might be able to hear the chatter of the crowd as the sun starts to come out at Lord's once again. And Benson to continue to the right-handed Davies who's on 15, and big swing outside the off stump and driven, and that goes again to that long off fielder who's been very much in the game.
He's keeping him
in this
busy.
over. He is keeping those hands warm, as they say. And here we go. Last ball of Benson's over. Nice big steps as he bowls outside the off stump and picked up, swept. That only goes as far as the fielder at deep mid wicket, who throws it in. One bounce to the bowler Benson, and the ball makes its way back to the keeper to trigger the start of the next over.
Steady over that one.
It was 60 for 2 is the score, 86 to win off 54 balls left. Marks is on 11, Davies on 16. It seems like now's the point, Amber, where they've got to start progressing.
When you get to those single figures, you've got 9 overs left. Still quite a lot of runs to get, 86 to go. They had such a strong start, like I mentioned. They kind of just need to pick up that momentum a little bit now. We've got Benson coming into the attack, I think
we've got 2 Bensons, and I think they've got exactly the same, exactly the same figures, which tells me that there's a bit of a mistake on the scoreboard. So we'll wait to update you on who the bowler actually is.
I love the scoreboard, but it is worth saying, weather looks promising. Sun is out, my coat is off.
I think it might be Aidan Hawksworth.
Well, Hawksworth coming in, a little bit of spin from the nursery end.
Looks like a leg spinner from the nursery end.
Oof.
And that was Marks, who defended it into the leg side, picked up by the keeper, who threw it into the bowler's end, and it actually hit the batter as he was sliding in. And I think he's okay. He's walked up and he looks completely fine. But the ball did ricochet off his body quite
a risky single there.
It was. Okay, here we go. Continues bowling, does Hawksworth, and that's just pushed into the offside, and that's might be run out. We all look at the umpire.
The umpire, no.
And that tells you guys why you must slide your bat in. Because he dived, he slid his bat in, and he was just about okay. The throw was actually pretty perfect over the stumps. The keeper collected it and went for the run out.
I think the fielding was very strong there. However, Marks and Davies are very quick between the wickets.
They are.
Umpire was not interested at all.
But again, it went straight to the fielder, and they went for a run. But nonetheless, Marks on strike. Hawksworth bowling, leg spinner. This one slightly shorter, pushed down the ground, and picked up by the fielder at long on. And often, when you see that, a ball going to long on, long off, they know that it's just a single, but they're actually running that single hard and pushing for the second.
It's a sign of a good ball, but also utilising those quick singles, yeah. You've got to be ready for the second. You don't know about overthrows, there could be a misfield.
Showing that intent, which is good. Okay, here we go. Hawksworth, nice and floated outside the off stump, and that one, I think it's actually hit the inside edge of Davies' bat, and it's gone towards a vacant fine leg region, and the fielder at third man has had to run across and pick it up and throw it in. They managed to get 2 off that delivery, so that's 19 for Davies, 65 for 2 is the score, and 5 off Hawksworth's over so far, as he spins the ball from his right hand to his left hand, and he takes a hop and a skip in. This one slightly flatter, slightly sharper, and straighter, and defended by the batter Davies to the fielder at extra cover. We have a deep cover on the offside on that short boundary protecting it, and the long off and long on as well, and a deep mid-wicket and deep backward square leg on the leg side. This one's shorter, slower, and pushed into the leg side, into that vacant region between deep backward square leg and deep mid-wicket by Davies, and they managed to run through for another couple of runs, and the ball makes its way in.
Tidy over, I would say, tidy overs from these pair.
I think
keeping the run rate low.
I think he'll be happy with that, won't he? 7 runs off his first over. He won't be displeased with that at all. And it looks like we have a change of bowling from the pavilion end as well.
79 to win, it's worth saying, for the Navy. They're 67 for 2. Marks and Davies are the batters in. Building a steady partnership, haven't seen a boundary for a while. Taking those steady singles here at Lord's. Worth saying that the Army are defending champions. Navy put up a good fight when they were fielding.
We have Denson Narayan bowling from the pavilion end. again, looks like a slow bowler. He's an all-rounder. His best figures are 5 for 16, it seems. And here we go. Narayan to bowl. This one's actually relatively fast for a slow bowler, but straight as well. And it was pushed into the offside by Marks, but only as far as the fielder at extra cover.
Again, a bowler that looks like he gets most of his speed from his actual action, not from his
run-up.
Yeah.
Narayan again, outside the off stump this time, and just pushed into the offside, but picked up by the same fielder at extra cover.
Superb fielding there in the covers.
And Narayan, who's just to the left of the umpire. Bit of an angled run-up, here we go, outside the off stump, short, and Marks just tried to fish at that a little bit, went with his hands as opposed to showing the full face of the bat, and missed it and went through to the keeper. No runs again. So far so good for Narayan. 3 balls so far, no runs scored, and he bowls. This one pushed into the offside as far as the fielder at extra cover, who just about misfields it, but deflects it to the fielder at long off, and they run through for a single. Tidy over so far from Narayan. Again, on that leg side boundary to the right-hander, the short boundary, we have 2 fielders protecting at deep mid-wicket and deep square leg. Narayan continues. This one, again, Davies tries to push that into the offside, but only goes as far as the bowler. Wasn't quite the connection he was looking for. 78 to win off 43. Narayan continues this outside the off stump, and this one he does manage to connect with a little better, and it goes to that fielder at deep cover on the long boundary, runs across the square here at Lord's, and that brings an end to Narayan's over. The score is 69 for 2. I'll leave you in the capable hands of Amber.
Thank you, Ian.
And coming on is Terry.
Well, Royal Navy won the toss here at Lord's. They chose to field first. They're currently 69 for 2. Marks on 14 of 21 deliveries. Davies 22 of 26 deliveries. Bowler coming in from the nursery end very soon. They need 77 to win. 7 overs left. The pressure is on. Less than 6 and over. And Terry joins me. Welcome, Terry.
Well, hi, Amber.
That's just been flicked. That's in the air.
So
Fielders running to it, but they miss it. It's dropped in the vacant region on the offside. They'll get the 2 for that.
Three fielders converged on that one. None of them close enough. No. But should point out an excellent first over from Narayan.
Yes. Hawksworth in the attack, bowling from the nursery end. He's coming in to Davies. Oh, and he's been bowled. I always feel like when I'm commentating there's a wicket, but he's been bowled. Hawksworth, I think it went through the bat and the pad.
Yeah,
Davies has been dismissed.
Frustrated. Shot, wasn't he?
Yeah, clear frustration. Mistimed it. He'll be dismissed for 24, 27. Very admirable innings there from him, 71 for 3.
You mentioned it just now, Amber, that pressure mounting.
Yes.
Excellent from Narayan. The run rate just dipped over under 6. Davis looking to accelerate that. The runs made room for a drive on the onside. Just the ball was too good.
That'll do a load for the Army's confidence there, that wicket, that little breakthrough there. Let's see who we've got coming in then for the Navy.
The scoreboard says it's is it Streeter or Streether? I'm not sure quite how to pronounce that.
If it is, it's Brendan Streether, shirt number 9. Let's have a look. He'll be joining Marks at the crease. 71 for 3 here, Lord. 75 to win for the Navy. They've got 7 overs left. Hawksworth in the attack, about to bowl his 3rd ball. From the nursery end, he continues, he bowls. Attempted flick from Streether, new batter in. Didn't quite connect. It'll just be the dot. Yeah, we've got Brendan Streether, whose cricketing hero is Freddie Flintoff.
19 in the qualification match.
Float, a bit more of a flightier delivery on that. Didn't quite.
Yeah, the Army managing to put the pressure on now, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. Hawksworth into the attack. Just on the back foot there. Very lucky there. Streeth on the back foot. Not sure how he's got contact on that, but he's then flicked that over to the leg side. Got the one, he's off the mark there. 73 for 3.
Just trying to cut it down towards third man or backward point, and didn't get anything on it, or not enough certainly. Could have gone anywhere there.
He could have. Hawksworth coming in to Marks. Just driven that into the covers. Gone for the quick single. They'll get there and that's fine. They've got the one. 74 for 3.
To endure a bit of pain there. As the throw came in, he caught him on the arm.
Hawksworth in for his final ball of this over. And that's in the air. Struck in the air. Will they get... Oh! Just missed a 6 there.
I think it is a 6. I think
Just
it hit the rope.
Oh,
yeah.
it is a 6.
Yeah, I think it just hit the rope.
6 runs
It's a
for
mighty
Streether.
blow.
What a way to start his innings.
Well, he's come out with intent, that's for sure.
Yeah, struck that. Missed the long off fielder.
Nice and straight.
Absolutely. 6 runs for him. 80 for 3. 66 to win for the Royal Navy.
The Navy needed that, and I think they'll probably need Streether to continue in that vein.
6 overs left, and Narayan back into the strike from Pavilion End. He had a really strong opening over. 2 off his last over. Quite tight line and lengths from him. Very consistent. He'll be coming in for his second over to bowl to Marks. Flatter delivery, driven through the onside, misses mid-wicket. They'll get the 1 for it. Oh, they'll go for 2, and they'll comfortably get back for 2.
That's good running.
Yeah, that's very good running. Long on, running round to the field in there. They've got the 2 comfortably.
Yeah, all dissected, sort of deep mid-wicket and long on. Allowed them to scamper through for 2.
Narayan coming in for a second ball. That's just driven through the covers. Long off will make their way round. Do the fielding. They're going for the 2. They've got direct hit. He's given it. Direct hit. That's brilliant fielding from long off. Direct hit to run out. Marks for 17. Superb fielding.
Well, you would have put money on Marks making that at the other end, because it would have taken some throw to hit the stumps from what was... just trying to think where that throw came in from now. It's
long off.
probably long off.
Yeah, long off. It looked like there could be 2 there any day, but that direct hit was brilliant. Really strong fielding there. Takes the Royal Navy to 82 for 3. Marks has been dismissed. 17 off 23 deliveries.
And that's a hammer blow to the confidence of the Royal Navy, because, you know, when you almost think the world's against you, when a throw like that comes in and hits the stumps, you think, oh, 99 times out of 100 that would have missed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Navy looking like they could be in a little bit of trouble. Fletcher on the fielding there. Brilliant fielding. It's one that you'd like to see on the replay again.
We've seen some good fielding today, haven't we? Some special moments in the field which will live long in the memory, I'm sure.
83 for 4 here at Lord's. Royal Navy 63 to win off 6 overs. Narayan into the attack. It's just been driven down the ground. Long off will do the fielding. They'll just get the single.
Yep, Streether they got rid of.
Well,
That just got the 6.
yes, Walnut into the attack now, replacing the dismissed batter, who was Streether, not...
Yeah, we thought it was Marks at first.
Yeah,
but
that was Mark
Streether.
Streether. So Mark still in, 19 of 25. Walnut even, to face his first delivery from Narayan from the Pavilion end. 84 for 4 here. Will not face his first delivery, swipe and a miss.
Oh, and he's out.
Oh, and he's out!
Stump.
I'm not sure if that's a stumping.
Yeah,
I think
it's a
that's a stumping, yeah.
Lightning reactions from the keeper.
Oh, the umpire's finger went straight up. Walnut out, very first ball. Unfortunately,
He looked like he was in his crease, so I can only assume that he lifted his leg up and outside the crease, because the umpire, no hesitation in raising the finger.
No, absolutely. Walnut dismissed for a duck. 84 for 5 here. Royal Navy looking like they're in real trouble here. Narayan, his second wicket of the over.
Yeah, that's a hammer blow, isn't it? And Narayan certainly has made his mark in this game. Excellent first over, and then 2 wickets in the second.
Daniel Robbins will be joining Marks at the crease, 84 for 5. Royal Navy looking like they're in trouble. Terry, 62 off 6 overs, run rate just 6.1. 2 dismissals in the last 2 balls here at Lords.
Puts pressure on the batsman coming in now that they've got to ramp up the run rate.
Terry, there's cake here in the
What?
commentary box.
Shocking behaviour.
There's cake. There's cake.
Anyway, we've got to go now, haven't we?
Yeah, sorry.
We've not had a good answer. I mean, when you consider we had to have an abortive attempt to try and get into the executive boxes onto the grandstand suites. That's probably my fault. I didn't bring a tie.
No.
Security was too strong.
84 for 5 here at Lords. Last ball of Narayan's over from the pavilion head. We've already had a run out and a stumping in this over. New batter in is Daniel Robbins.
The umpire's just realised he's a lefty.
Oh, we've got curve ball.
Oh no, it's not. It's in there. Where's he going?
No, he's
No,
right-handed.
Yeah, swapping sides. He thought he was a lefty.
Last ball went straight through to the keeper. It's just a dot. 84 for 5. That's the end of that over. 5 overs left. 62 to win.
Tall order, I think. It'd be fair to say. I'm not possible, of course.
Yeah, of course. Just looking harder and harder though. Run rate of 6 at the moment. Mark's still looking strong out there. 19 off his 25 deliveries. But the Army have been very sharp in the field. Tight bowling spells all round. Hawksworth to come from the nursery end for his 3rd over. Mark's on strike.
Yeah, a little bit expensive in his first 2 overs, going from 9 and over, but
Hawksworth into the attack. Just on the back foot. Push that into the covers. Won't get anything for it, it's just a dot ball. I'll go through the field in just a second. Hawksworth coming into bowl.
it's a 6 again, I think.
Oh, that's 6 runs. Dance down the pitch for that one.
Good use of
Great
feet.
feet, yeah, great use of feet. Great contact, 6 runs. That's exactly what Navy need right now. 6 runs for Marks, takes the score to 90 for 5.
One good over and the whole thing swings back again, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Hawksworth, 3rd ball of this over. Bowls attempted kind of sweep, flick of some sort, but it's a wide ball. A very frustrated Marks
Yeah,
there.
he was annoyed at himself, isn't he? That was a delivery that needed to be punished, and it wasn't.
Wide ball though. Hawksworth into the attack again. That's just been pushed into the covers, but bowler runs to get that. They take the quick single, 91 for 5.
I think the thing there is we've got a runner.
Yeah, field is looking like long on, log off. Cover, point, deep cover on the boundary.
Robbins has got a runner.
Backwards point, mid-wicket. Why is Liam laughing at me?
Which
Hawksworth coming in. It's been flicked down to the leg side.
Robbins clearly carrying an injury.
Wanted the one,
Runner.
didn't quite get it. It's worth saying that the other commentators in the box aren't using cake. Well, me and Terry do all the hard work, so.
Not a chance of there being any left by the
No,
time we finish.
there's not. Last 2 balls for Hawksworth. Didn't quite get his rhythm. We'll start that again. Dead ball there. Makes his way back to his mark. Mark's on strike, 93 for 5. Comes into bowl, it's just driven down the ground.
Better length, good recovery from
Yeah,
Hawksworth after
extra cover
conceding
would
that 6.
Yeah, they'll just take the single. 52 to win, 5 overs remaining. Hawksworth for his final ball from the nursery end. Oh! Was that
I think he missed
reverse
it.
paddle,
It was
reverse sweep?
Reverse paddle, but I don't sure he got anything on it. And the umpire will tell him he must have done.
Yeah.
Must have got a little nick.
Yeah, I thought that would have been leg buys, but no. 94 for 5, that's the end of Hawksworth over. Marks on 27, Daniel Robbins 2 off his 3 deliveries so far. 4 overs left, 51 to win.
And Narayan, who's been the pick of the bowlers, has got 2 of them left, so even more pressure on the Navy to try and get these runs off one of the better bowlers.
Pressure is really on. Run rate of 6.3. Narayan, great figure so far, 2 overs, 6 runs conceded, 1 wicket for him. He bowls.
Oh,
that's in the air. Robbins struck that straight into the stands. That's 6 runs.
I think that's a crowd catch as well.
Was that crowd catch?
Decent fielding.
Get him on the pitch.
In the crowd.
He's recruited.
Didn't have a beer in his hand, which is crucial.
Lovely shot from Daniel Robbins. Well timed. Struck it well, went straight into the stands at 6 runs. 101 for 5. Narayan into the attack from the pavilion end, driven that down the ground. Long off will run round to do the fielding. And that is the 100 for the Navy. That should give them a little bit of confidence.
Yeah. Although I suspect Marx's heart was in his mouth when he saw who the fielder was. It was Fletcher coming in, who gloriously ran out Streether earlier on.
Narayan, 3rd ball of the over, slightly shorter, flatter delivery there. It's also signalled a wide from the umpire. Daniel Robbins on strike. 10 off his 5 deliveries so far. Doing well with Marks to build some sort of partnership. 42 to win. Flicks over to the leg side. That'll be 4 runs. It beats the fielder at the boundary. 4 runs for Daniel Robbins.
Yeah, what we're saying about how quickly this game swings. Narayan up to this point has been absolutely superb, and he's where's he gone now for 13 in this over so far?
Navy picking up the pace, building somewhat momentum. 108 for 5, 38 to win. Narayan into the attack. Oh, and that's been struck into the air. Will it be caught?
Oh,
yes, it's caught. Long on does the fielding. Great catch. Daniel Robbins is dismissed for 14.
And just when you think the Navy are getting back into it,
Yeah.
they hole out at Robbins, who looked like he could certainly strike the ball.
Don't think he timed that as well as he could have. Played a little bit too short, and great catch at long on.
Narayan at long on was the one who took it.
Oh, great.
Oh no, it's Benson, I beg your pardon, it was off Narayan's bowling. It's Benson who took it. My apologies.
Great catch from Benson. 108 for 6. The Navy looking like they are in trouble. 38 to win. 4 overs left, and we've got some horrible cloud over Lords.
You're just wanting it to rain so you can go and get some cake, aren't
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I'm doing us a favour.
Oh, look.
Incoming batsman
Served.
is Jerron John.
John into the batting lineup. He joins Marks at the crease. Marks on 27 of 29 deliveries. 2 balls left in Narayan's over.
Well, John managed to get 22 in the qualification game against the RAF down at Portsmouth before this Lord's tri-tournament. So you can strike a ball. 20. They could do with 22 now.
Yes. We need some intent and big hits if the Navy want to win this. Narayan bowling from the pavilion end. 2 balls left of his over. He bowls. That's just pushed into the offside. They'll get the single for it. Extra cover does the fielding. 109 for 6. Final ball of this over before I hand over to Ben. Narayan with his final ball of this over. Bowls. Struck through, misses the bowler. Long off will do the fielding. They'll just get the single. 110 for 6. John off the mark with 1. Marks 28 off his 30 deliveries. 3 overs left, because of course it's 19 overs. I'm going to leave in the capable hands of Terry, and Ben will be joining you shortly.
Thanks, Amber. 3 overs left. 36 required. 12 and over. I mean, the the Navy have shown that they can hit the boundaries. A few sixes in this innings so far, and Ben, it's not that tall an order if the likes of John and Marks can connect.
Well, one bad over here or in the next over, and the pressure transfers back onto the Army, particularly if Marks is still there. If Marks went now, I think the Army would be all over this Navy lower order, and they would fully expect to win.
Well, it's Schofield in the attack to Marks, who punches it in to the offside, and it's a tight run there, and he's out. To John, scampering for the single. They want the runs, and they've paid the price.
Well, it was Geron John running to the danger end. He was risking the single to get his partner back on strike, keep the score ticking over. But it was always a risky single, and it was very, very sharp fielding, and it's nerves of steel in the field that have really kept the Army in this competition when the Navy were launching quite a fierce counter attack. Very sharp the keeper earlier this afternoon. A direct hit from Fletcher to engineer a run out earlier on. That was Streether, and plenty of pressure now on Marks on 28 on 31, and only 3 wickets in hand at the other end.
Indeed, Romanek coming in as the next batsman, and 3 run-outs and a stumping. I tell the tale. I mean, you can't really say that it's bad running, because just excellent fielding.
You have to take on the fielders on transfer pressure back on the field when you're looking at scoring 2 runs a ball from here on in to win. You have to take those calculated risks somewhere.
Well, it's Romanek who'll face his first ball. Can't get any contact with it. Just squirms past the keeper, but not sufficiently enough to sneak a run. And, dot ball, valuable for the Army, not so much for the Royal Navy, who still need those 36 runs.
If he does get any width, there's plenty of space down to third man.
Little punch into square leg, and another throw that had Romanek scampering this time, not a million miles away from the stumps. Excellent fielding from the Army.
Romanek's done the right thing. He's had to strike back to his senior partner. If they're going to score these runs, about 90% of them have to come from Marks.
He's facing this ball for Schofield, and hits it down towards mid-off region, towards deep cover. Scamper through for a single. Marks will probably want to deal in boundaries, but he's not being able to at the moment. Romanek will take the strike for this 5th ball of the over. Delivers. There's a good punch down the ground towards long on. Still only a single. Schofield moves on, ticks over, but 113 for 7. 1 ball left of this particular over, and there'll be 2 overs left after this. And the mountain to climb has just got a bit steeper, I'd say. As Schofield comes in for his last ball, he's just flicked down the leg side towards short fine leg, just the 1 run again. Then we have 2 overs left, 114 for 7, 32 runs required.
Just 3 runs off that over, I think, but crucially Marks is on strike. Duckworth-Lewis par at this stage is 136, but I mean that's irrelevant at this stage really. 32 runs required off 2 overs. Looks like it's going to be Ryan to complete his set. He's had 3 already, 2 for 21. So a bad over from here, by which I mean one that goes for say 10 or more. There's still a little bit of pressure on the Army.
Well, he had 15 off his last over. I mean, the first 2 overs only went for 6, and so we thought it's going to be we're going to find it difficult to get him away. But last over, they finished him to the tune of 15 runs. The Royal Navy, and they'd like to do that again. As the line comes in, bowls paddle over the top. Will not have enough legs on it to go to the boundary. It's towards fine leg, but fielded before it can get there. Just 2, I think, there.
It was quite an inventive shot there from Marks, because the field on his onside of the wicket was packed, so he did a reverse paddle and went the other way. good presence of mind, and he retains a strike because it was 2.
Narayan comes in, bowls again. This time it's a punch shot towards National Cover. Will it make the boundary? Yes, it does. It's an important strike and a good hit, well timed. In front of Warner stand. Well, where there's life, there's hope, and scoreboard ticks over to 120 for 7. 26 runs required.
It is doable. The offside field is packed, so if Narayan is 2 straight, there's plenty of runs available on the leg side. If he gets it behind square, it's an almost certain boundary.
It's another firm strike, but doesn't beat the inner ring. Just a single for Marks there. 121 for 7. Romanik down here at the nursery end.
Romanik's marking has got, I think this is the first ball he's faced from this end. If he doesn't hand the strike back to Mark straight away after this ball, for me, I would say it's a free hit.
He's got to go for it. Yeah. Either he gets a single, if he doesn't, then he's really got to go for it after this. But, Ryan just adjusting his field as he steps up to bowl, delivers it, and hit in the air. This could be another wicket, and it is comfortably taken.
He's gone for it a bit earlier than I thought he would. I thought he would try and push for the single that ball and then go for the free hit. He's gone for the free hit straight away. Big leading edge off a big booming drive, caught in the covers. Romanek goes for a couple. And did the batters cross? 121 for 8. Still 25 required.
If you're the Royal Navy, you'll hope that Mark's got across at that point. I'm guessing it's Chadwick coming in next. Haven't got confirmation of that yet. Catch in the covers.
James Chadwick.
Lesperis.
Chadwick confirmed on the public address just there.
Lesperis with the catch from the Narayan. And the bowling of Narayan, who's now picked up his 3rd wicket, and was also involved in another run out. So he's had a good afternoon here. Narayan.
The Army have held their nerve as well, and Narayan has held his nerve because he didn't try to do anything different with his bowling. Even though his first couple of deliveries went for a 4 and a 2, he's stuck to his plan. He hasn't allowed the batter to dictate the plan.
Well, he didn't cross. So Chadwick is going to face Narayan. His 5th ball of the over, his final over. He's in bowls. A huge swipe.
There's 2 if they get their skates on.
I think it's just be the one. I think probably down to the fact that they want Marks on a strike. Not sure that's where he was aiming, Chadwick, but he gets a run for it.
It was a swipe, it was a cross-batted shot, but it went very straight, and I thought it was straight enough, but for them to risk a couple. But actually the fielders ran in very, very smartly from long on to restrict it to 1.
Well, his final ball is chopped away down towards the sweep here in front of the grandstand, and going for 2. Throw comes in, not quite as accurate as the previous throws we've seen this afternoon, so Marks comes back for the 2nd.
Tumbling stop there from the Army keeper to make sure there were no overthrows. I think the keeper has done a fantastic job here. That's Sam Blackburn. Took a smart stumping. I can't think of any errors behind the stumps, even when the Navy were really taking the attack back to the Army.
Well, if the Royal Navy are going to get this, it's going to be a sparkling last over. 22 runs required. Chadwick will face, and Marks just having a chat. Interesting to know what the message is. Marks is given, just let me get up the other end, or you need to hit a boundary.
I think he's just got to place it somewhere and go for a single. Marks needs to place 5 for me.
But Schofield to bowl the last over. Comes in, bowls. And, Chadwick has gone for it, and decent strike, but it's going to be fielded down here, and they scamper back for 2.
The danger was at the other end, so when the return throw went to the bowler's end, there was never any danger of a run out. So it's a safe 2 in the end.
Well, maybe have to look towards boundaries rather than 2s. If they're to get anywhere near this total, they require 20 off the last 5. Go for bowls. Ramp attempted, and Shout from the keeper for something.
Blackburn was claiming a stumping because the stumps are knocked back, but the umpire hasn't given it.
It's another lightning stumping. I didn't even see that
There's
happen.
back on. Yeah, well, it was so quick you barely saw it.
Exactly. Schofield comes in. Bowls. It's a good Yorker delivery, and that's another lightning stumping. I don't think that was bowled. I think that was another stumping from Blackburn.
Yeah, quicker delivery from Schofield. Chadwick was drawn forward out of his crease to try and tap it into the onside. Lightning reactions there from Blackburn. He really has kept wickets superbly, and this has been a great team effort for the Army. Not just because of the quality of the bowling, but because everyone's kept their nerve in the field. There's any fumbles in the field. Stumping chances, really tight stumping chances, have been taken, and every time the Navy has tried to push and attack the bowling, the Army have kept their heads and they've held their chances.
Well, 3 balls left, 20 runs remaining. I'll let you do the maths. It's a tall order, it's fair to say.
Well, you need a few no balls to change the equation. Now you don't get
a
extra
couple of no balls and a few free hits.
Yeah.
Schofield comes in, bowls. Well, that's sorted that one out. It's clean bowled, and Rutherford come in as the last man. Has just been clean bowled by Schofield, and that's the Army victorious against the Royal Navy with 20 runs to spare.
Well, fantastic performance from the Army, but I think we should really congratulate both teams, because this has been a fantastic game of cricket. The bowling, the quality of the bowling, fielding and batting on both sides has been really a joy to watch. Yes, 145 was a competitive total. It could have been more, but the Navy pegged them back, so I think that raised hopes, and the Navy certainly made their intentions clear by attacking early on and getting that run rate to a run a ball or just above in the first couple of overs. But they just lost momentum in the middle to late overs, and lightning work behind the stumps from Blackburn I think made a crucial difference. Very good bowling from the Ryan. He finishes with 3 for 31, and you can see why the Army have won this for the last 3 years in a row. It's not just the quality of the players they've got, it's the ability to hold their nerve and to stick to their game plan under pressure.
Well, you're absolutely right, but I think credit to the Royal Navy for making a really competitive game of this, and the Army had to be at their best to get them over the line, and they were.
They every time the Navy went up a gear, they went up a gear as well. They had enough. They had enough in the locker to deal with the pressure the Navy were putting upon them. Good competitive game of cricket. It's going to be hard work for the RAF, who are the next and indeed the final team to feature in this competition today, and that match will get underway, weather permitting. We do keep having to say that because we have got a bit of cloud cover behind our and on top of our commentary position here at the JP Morgan Media Centre, but weather permitting, the Army will lock horns with the RAF in what we assume is a 20-over match, but again that's weather permitting, with a 4:30 start, and we look forward to your company then.
The next match will be at 4:30 between the Army and the Royal Air Force. Just to remind you that food and drink can be purchased from Darks Bar under the Mound stand, and Portland's Cafe, which is under the Warner stand. Alternatively, you may wish to visit the Lord's Tavern pub, which is open today until 11 p.m. Dinner will be available from 5 to 9 p.m.
So that sets up the final nicely here at Lords at the Inter-Services T20, with the Army beating the Royal Navy by just 19 runs here in the first men's game here at Lords. And in half an hour or so you'll be able to see that final game between the British Army and the Royal Air Force. But I've got player Nick Schofield with me. Bowling at the death there, and you got 3 wickets. What a brilliant win, and I think the Navy really brought it to you guys today.
They did, yeah. We got a bit scared towards the end. They scored a few quick boundaries. We got a little bit worried, but we pulled it back. A few quick wickets changed the game very quickly.
I don't know if you saw the game between the Navy and the RAF last Friday, which obviously had to be played outside of Lords because of the timings, but I don't think they really showed up in Portsmouth, so it didn't really give us an insight in what the Navy can produce. You guys have obviously beaten them today, and what a way and a time to do it as well.
Yeah, great day to do it. We obviously didn't see them play on Friday due to playing at Portsmouth, but they brought their game today. They played really well, gave us right to the end, but we were just too good for them at the end.
That's what it is, isn't it? Once you got into the sort of tail end part of it, there was run-outs, there were attempted run-outs, all the rest of it. But you guys played with some real spirit out there, in that you look like a really determined side.
Yeah, we're often quite a hard team to play with. Fitted to our hardness, we try and get on top of them if we can. We kind of dominated them towards the end, and it's things they didn't need to do.
Is it an advantage getting to play both your games at Lords, or is it an added pressure to have to play 2 games in half an hour at a time? You'll be back on the pitch.
Yeah, playing back-to-back is very hard, but we'd rather play 2 games here than play 1 here in Lords or somewhere else. But we did what we can, and we'll have a little break and we'll go again.
And you are reigning champions, so you have every right to be confident, but the RAF again will bring it. They're a very good side. They were champions very recently. And what do you see happening in that last game?
I think it'll be a very, very tight game. The RAF are a good side. We'll just have to bowl our best and just bat like we can. We should be all right.
And will you adopt the same kind of strategy that you did against the Navy, in that, you know, there were some great 6s scored here and some lovely 4s being scored as well, so plenty of boundaries?
Oh, lots of boundaries, especially taking the shot boundary into consideration. It was a good game.
Well, I hope the weather holds out for you, Nick. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That will be in half an hour's time if you join us or stay with us here at Lords for the British Army against the Royal Air Force.